Hello.
Dear God, Wooly, did you fucking die? Are you ascending to heaven?
I am once again ascending to heaven.
This is like when I had the light coming through me and hitting me in the fucking face.
Yeah,
You're
there's
ascending.
there's lots of light in my studio.
Oh, it's Easter.
It is Easter.
Did you die over the weekend?
There's lots of light coming from the front and from behind me. So it kind of like there's two walls that are just like blasted with light.
Well, that's fantastic. I
Yeah.
can see you clearly.
There you go.
How's your week been going, newly homed Wooly?
It's going. So there's definitely once again there's tons of renovations going on. Construction is happening like on top of me in every direction. So hopefully no one's gonna hear it because I'm attempting to noise cancel. And
Oh, that's why your voice sounds slightly different.
yeah. So if it sounds a little bit off, it's because I'm trying to noise cancel because like there was some proximity between the construction noises in the last location, but here it's like really close because they're doing shit for this place.
You
So
putting a toilet into your streaming couch?
that's already good to go.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, no, that's more
That's
than
good.
ready to go. But the other stuff is being taken care of. So all this to say, I figure the trade-off for voice quality to noise canceling is worth it for jackhammering and yada yada. So that's going on right now, and no one's hearing it. So hey, that's
I don't
good.
hear shit, man.
Perfect.
I don't hear nothing.
And yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I haven't had much of a week of things because, as I said, I would get around to streaming if possible, but I was not able to because setting up and getting everything in place has taken up the entire week. There was definitely a couple points where there's been like I talked about outlet changing. Now I'm like cutting holes into drywall and like peeking at the stubs the studs to see if there's like wires running on through the wood, making sure it's safe to drill. It's going on. So there's
The
just
last thing you need to do is go, I bet it's fine, and then power drill directly into the main and die.
trying not to die. And that overabundance of caution, it's been pretty funny because my father-in-law has been like he's a construction guy and he's just kind of like yeah it's fine, just stick your hand in, you'll see the insulation, move it aside, try to feel for some wires.
My
And
fucking dad's the same way, dude. It's the worst.
there's just a level of casualness where I'm like, I mean, one, the little I know is that there's a lot of things that can go wrong if you just start sticking your hand into wires. And two, like insulation, and that's the thing is like back in school, I know fiberglass splinters were a thing. We would work with
Yeah.
fiberglass materials sometime, and when you
Even
get a
though it looks like
fiberglass,
cotton candy and it looks delicious.
it fucking sucks. It's like a wooden splinter, except it's glass, it's invisible, and it's not coming out anytime soon. So I'm
Your
trying to not
body
get
just
any of
will need
those.
to accommodate the new part of you.
But like, yeah, so I'm just like, okay, I have a glove, but like ultimately is there a way to like avoid it for the rest of my, and they're like, it'll be fine. And it's like, okay, all right, I'll trust at that point. So I'm sticking my hand into walls and, doing the whole thing. But no, it took pretty much the entire week worth of setup. So I'm finally, I think, in an adequate starting position. I also bought. Mhm.
I'm just like, before we go too far, like there's something about the blue collar working man that like they're telling you it's fine, and you're looking at their hands and their hands are like burnt and like missing little chunks here and there. Like my dad told me that I shouldn't be so nervous around the fuse box, right? Because
Yeah,
like I don't like
yeah,
to mess with
yeah.
my fuse box. I know that's
Hmm.
not the most dangerous thing. It's like, Dad, I watched you electrocute yourself taking the VCR apart because you were too lazy to unplug it.
That, and like we are using um copious amounts of electricity to do these setups that are way more intense than the average little household with a little printer and a 386, right?
So did you, I don't know if you know this, but back before we were born, right? in Montreal, when my dad was in his like 20s, the fire department once a year would come to your house and they would look your house over and determine fire hazards. And they would go, that's too close to that. There's no good exit here. And they would give you advice on how to do that. And with the advent of modern technology, that process became totally pointless. I am sitting in a semicircle of fire right now.
Yeah. I remember that process of like the fire code inspection slowly just became smoke alarm testing.
Is the smoke alarm
and they just kind of knock and it goes, your smoke alarm on? Yeah, okay, cool, check, and move on. Like they just don't even bother with that anymore. But yeah, absolutely. Like there's besides like all the power bars and shit that are set up and yada yada, I look at my setup. There are 5 computers set up and running here.
when we got the house, one of the things I was like, I need you to check that the outlets in these spaces can pull what I'm gonna need to pull, because I'm gonna pull a lot.
Yeah.
All at once. And still, when I turn that computer on, if these lights are on, they dim.
Yeah. No, it's a real concern with the power draw. And I'm not even done, like, because I'm gonna install AC central at some point when the summer hits, and there's gonna be all kinds of power draw situations to figure out here. I just need to make sure, like, at no point does like a computer explode and then like everything else just goes up in flames.
Well, so I have a piece of advice. So what you're going to want to do, I have these paper towels in case I eat food here and I get messy, right? Or whatever. But what you want to do is you want to really wrap all your outlets in the paper towels, because that way, if there's a little spark or a fire, the paper towels will slow the fire down.
Slow it down
long enough for you to, to get away.
Perfect. Yep, that's good.
I am now realizing that is so hazardous. I actually have to stop and tell the audience, don't do that. That is a humorous anecdote, joke that is not real. Do not wrap anything around your outlets with paper towels. It will burn your house down. Don't do that.
Yeah, I also in the last place had the podcast area and the LP area somewhat separate, but now everything is happening on pretty much the same breaker. You know? So we're pushing it. We're pushing it, and I'm still figuring out my my hot tub logistics.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, it's gonna be a bit risky, but either way.
Do you think you're gonna have time to be streaming this week?
Yes, in fact I'm gonna have to, because I agreed to some contractual stuff well in advance of this. So I am going to be doing some streaming, because I better fucking get to it.
Because you signed a piece of paper.
I did sign a contract. Yeah. So there's going to be obviously the picking back up of LPs, but besides Mass Effect and FF9, I'm going to be doing a Mega Man Legacy Collection stream.
You are?
Yeah. So
that sounds like a great stream. You doing that on Friday, April 14th?
That's correct.
That's a great day to do that, because I will also be doing a Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection stream on April 14th that I also signed a piece of paper for that I'm going to be doing.
Yeah. So gonna go jump in on the Battle Network collection, figure out what's going on.
I don't know anything about Mega Man Battle Network at all.
I gave it a quick once over back in the day as a kid, and I was like, oh, they're doing Pokemon plus Mega Man. That's cool. And the designs are always pretty sick. But yeah, nothing really. The cartoon came on the air like as I was on the way out. So we'll fucking see.
The only thing I know is what Zero and Mega Man play like in Onimusha Blade Warriors. That's
Yeah.
it.
No, I always thought it was a cool excuse to like redesign a lot of the old Mega Man characters, and uh fucking here we go. We'll jump into this. uh okay, Pokemon or not, the point, there's a kid and he has a little buddy that's Mega Man.
It's
That
more
on
like
its own,
Digiman.
it's sure, but it's not Mega Man himself running around doing the Mega Man things. It's getting close
I
to the
I think the
remarket
weirdest
it for
part
children
is
thing.
that
You know, you get the deal.
I get it. I played One
Um,
Step from Eden, which is like a spiritual successor to those games
yeah.
without knowing.
Gameplay wise, One Step from Eden is
Yeah,
fucking
but like I
right on
did
there.
that without knowing what Battle Network was, so like I'm
Mm-hmm.
going back in time. It's gonna be very strange.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like God. Okay,
No, hold it.
gameplay.
No, stop. Just move on. It's
Yes,
like Pokemon,
you know
Mega Man,
exactly what I
Pikachu.
mean when I
I
say
know
that. You
exactly what you
fucker.
mean.
You know 100%. Don't
We're
be a
here
fucking
together. There's no one else here. There's no one else here.
complete just. Anyways, so that's
And
gonna
then
be
the
happening.
kid and Mega Man, they kiss, and it's a whole thing. And Zero's there, and then they
um,
murder Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, right. There you go. So anyways, there's that going on, and then on Saturday it'll be the Indie Fighting Game Festival.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh right, yeah, you mentioned that last week.
yeah, that's happening as well, promoting a bunch of different indies, tons and tons of them. Some stuff that's not out yet. So we're just gonna do a variety of them. Jump on, just stick stuff in and see how it fucking plays. And yeah, overall a good weekend for jumping on some indie fighting games. So come check that out as well. I'm gonna post the schedule up once I get a shot.
We have
Yeah.
fantastic fighting game news this week, actually. Like really good. I'm very excited. But we'll talk about that later, obviously.
Yeah. But not a ton else. Just gonna try to resume where we left off and give this new setup a swing. See if anything falls apart, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, yeah, I mean, something's gonna break.
Oh yeah, no question. But like, let's hopefully it's small and I can fix it live, and then the big problems will come deep after 4 or 5 sessions. You know, that's how it goes.
Yeah, like
so.
there was a really fascinating. I don't know if you saw it on the subreddit. It's like, hey, why do old videos have so much audio desync? And it's just like, oh, I just want to die. I just want to die.
You see, sometimes you'd think that clicking record at the same time on 2 devices and then stop at the same time would create the same length file, but that's not what happens.
And sometimes that file is off by multiple minutes. And sometimes you go, well, I know what I'll do. I'll do claps, or I'll move the controller in the game with my voice, and then that'll sync up. And then you do one at the beginning and one at the end, and they're 10 minutes apart. And you're like, that's weird. It doesn't seem like there's a 10-minute gap. Oh, right. That's because there's a 1/3 of 1 second gap 400 times at random. Sometimes when you go through doors or the screen goes black.
Time gets erased. So yeah, that's why you get those problems, and we compensate for them.
It's one of my favorite things about streaming live, because the nature of streaming live is like, no, it is synced up because it's live.
Yeah. I have to slow your voice down by 0.0997 every week practically to
Seriously?
match our syncs up. Yeah.
Are you fucking serious?
Our syncs are not in sync. I have to actually adjust it constantly.
Oh my god, I hate it.
2
Because
wave files.
My
same
computer
thing.
is running at 1/1 millionth of a different speed than your computer.
Well, there's the sample rate, and then there's the fact that like just the file that gets, anyway, whatever. There's a whole thing to it, but once it exports, especially when we used to do like when you're doing anything at 60, like yeah, you might just get that little bit trimmed off.
It makes me like ball up my little tiny man fists and shake when I look at an video editor. I mean, not like a person. And I see like, hey, you ready to do it 60, or do you want to export at 59.97 because some dipshit 25 years ago decided that this shit shouldn't be a bunch of whole numbers. It should actually be a bunch of bullshit. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Always fun that's going to be the legacy forever. Anyway, so yeah, not much of a week to really describe besides just house shit and so on, but making my way through The Last of Us, shout outs Nick Offerman for that incredible episode.
That episode is so good. It doesn't need to be part of The Last of Us, though.
No, that's a proper San Junipero in the middle of the season. Episode 3, that is the one that everyone's talking about, and I was like, oh yeah, everyone's been talking about this, let's go see it. And it's like, oh yeah, they've completely and utterly changed everything about Bill, but it's all for the better. And it does, like, instead of creating a change of gameplay pace, you create a change of story pace,
tone. I thought the real it was really fascinating because Bill isn't just different. Bill is totally inverted from his game counterpart, like complete opposite.
The message he gives and leaves is the exact opposite message compared to last time.
And that seems like a really weird choice because it's so thematically inconsistent. But then as I thought about it more, I'm like, well, Bill in the original was like, be good to the people around you and care about them, because if not, they'll leave you and you'll be left with fucking nothing. And you'll be a miserable, lonely piece of shit.
Bitter fuck, yeah.
Right? And in this one, it's appreciate the people that you love so that you are happy. And it's like, it's the same message, but it's all carrot and no stick. Like, Bill in the game is a warning, and Bill in the show is like an aspiration.
There's a thing to it as well where, spoilers, I suppose, if you haven't seen the show, so we're going to spoil the third episode. But the end of it too, I was kind of curious because I was like, are they gonna set things up so that he goes with Frank, right? And when they did, I was like, huh. But he's such a survivalist. He's such a, I'm going to go through all the lengths I can to always make it, like, to do that on your own is such a crazy, intense thing that so many people can't do, that it's like, oh, like, is he actually going to, and it's like, yeah, he does. And that just makes it even more of a powerful statement, right? Like, surviving to Bill is way more important than it is for most people. Because most people wouldn't bother to do all the shit he does to make it. And then it means that much more when he gives it up,
It's a fairly consistent scene that you see in a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff. And it's like, survival isn't enough. Like just having food, shelter it's not enough. Like, humans are social creatures. Isolation screws us up. And we have this darn desire for some kind of higher meaning or purpose or what have you that is just always getting in our way. Darn.
Yeah. And I really do appreciate the casting as well, because it feels as if, like, Nick Offerman could have walked right off of Parks and Rec into that basement.
Feels like that a lot.
Right? Like, he really has like that there's the moment where it's like the government is all Nazis and just like, fuck you.
It's like, well, yeah, they weren't then.
Government fucks.
They are now.
Like, absolutely. Like, he just walked straight off of the set of Parks and Rec into that basement and became Bill, So that feels like a very deliberate cast. Anyway, fucking excellent on that. Also, as well, the I guess, like, not just the expansion of how his backstory is really great, but like the twist in the letter, it's interesting in how it's complicated by mentioning Tess there, as opposed to just, if I'm not mistaken, it's just like you just kind of have Frank hung, and then the letter from him,
Yeah,
right?
and
Like,
the letter is Bill, fuck you, you piece of shit.
right. Yeah,
I
it's so
would
much more
rather risk
drab.
my life and die than spend another day in your bullshit.
Yeah. Um, it also, admittedly, though, like the world of Billtown in Last of Us the game is so much more neurotic and
Shithole.
insane.
Fucking, it's a overrun, trap-filled shithole.
With just, yeah, with the fucking, zombies everywhere, locked in cages and pens, and yeah, you're like tripline. It's madness. It's kind of insanity, to be honest. And here you're being given a more like slice of Americana apple pie survivalist community that's not a community.
It is a
You know?
libertarian fantasy to the nth
Yes,
degree.
yes,
It's like,
yes, yeah. With the
it is
flag
like,
up, don't
I'm
tread.
gonna have the whole town to myself, and this and that, and I have my generator, like that is like outpost survivalist pornography. The first
Mm-hmm.
like 15 minutes, like him in the basement setting up the generator, putting up the fucking fence.
The pure homestead, and then the outside barrier, whereas like in the game it's just like crawling through nonstop landmines. Yeah. Still
Yeah,
though.
and like he's living in like a, like you find him in the church where he spends most of his time, but like when you leave the church to go to the rest of the level, there are clickers like less than 100 feet from the door.
mm.
Like it is not a safe location. It is a safe plot of land and four walls.
And it also feels like, I get like the idea in the game is that like only he can really make it through,
Hmm.
if because he knows where everything is and how everything is set up, but like to anyone else just passing through, it just looks like lost land.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, but still, really, really good episode, really well done, and a very nice way to establish, hey, we're gonna change shit sometimes, and when we do, it'll hopefully be for the best, right? Previous
Hmm.
conversations notwithstanding. Um, yeah, so making my way through that slowly.
Hey, this is a
Anyways,
complete non sequitur, complete idiot question for you, Wooly. But when somebody says they're making their way through something, does your brain just autoplay like making your way downtown?
um,
Or is that
no,
just me?
no. My brain goes, making your way in the world today takes everything you got.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, all right. Okay, I'm
So
seeing it. But like I'm not crazy, right? Certain phrases just
yeah,
like autoplay music because it's just a phrase that's you associate with it.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Oh,
I
thank goodness.
go in that direction instead. Anyways, yeah, not much else really. So tune in this week. Hopefully, yes, actually back to schedule. So check my Twitter, Wooly Versus. You guys will see what's going on.
I hear that Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection is the best game ever.
I hear good things
I heard a
about
great thing from
1 to
me.
6. Yeah,
It's actually, so here's the wild thing, it's actually more than 1 to 6 because there's multiple versions of like 3, 4, and 5, I think.
you're right.
So there's actually like 12
12.
games in
Mm-hmm.
the
Red
time.
and blue.
Like, yeah, well, yeah, like the Pokemon. Like the Pokemon.
uh,
All right. Well, you had a short week. Well, no, you had the same length week as everybody else did, but whatever. In terms of time. Luckily enough for the podcast listener, I actually had a huge week in terms of content to describe. First of all, beat Dredge. Dredge is incredible. A plus.
yeah.
Nothing to add from anything I said last week, other than I crawled over the finish line. Both endings fantastic. I think I prefer the bad ending
Okay.
because it feels like more appropriate to have it all go to shit.
Are the conditions based on uh, decisions throughout the entire run
No,
or last?
the decisions are: did you did you beat the game normal style, or did you go talk to one guy and be like, maybe I should go beat the game a different way, and then go do it?
Okay.
And when you start either of those processes, the game goes, hey, we're disabling autosaves. The game will not save after this point. You are free to continue playing the game as normal after you get the ending and see the credits. So I went and I just bing bang boom knocked out the 2 endings in 15 minutes, and then went and finished up getting this fish here and that fish there and calling it a day on it. Excellent, super game. Excellent, good, fantastic dredge. A
Okay.
plus, thumbs up. Like, definitely up there for like indie game of the year kind of thing. Like, it's fantastic. Can't say, have nothing bad to say about it at all. Like, kind of like Hi-Fi Rush, where it's like if you were using like the perfect system of like until complaints happen, nothing, absolutely
Yeah.
nothing.
No, I bought that right away after last week's description and the trailer. It looked phenomenal.
Let's see what else. Mercenaries came out for RE4. Hooray! It's a free download, and it also came alongside like a wildly absurd amount of disgusting, fucked up DLC that is like weapon upgrades for cash, for real human cash, that is extremely analogous to the red orb packs in Devil May Cry.
Okay.
Right? And so Mercenaries comes out, and Mercenaries is fantastic. It's a modern version with the new system of the old Mercenaries. There's currently 3 levels, 4 characters. There's going to be 4 more characters in another level. It is, the line between Devil May Cry and Resident Evil has never been so thin. So Krauser, I don't know if you ever played the old Mercenaries, but Krauser had like the knife, the Uzi, and the bow and arrow, and he could do like a Plagas move. He could do like a blade arm move, right?
I've seen and heard about the crazy level of action, like looseness that it gets.
So Krauser has like a 5-hit knife combo with dashes from side to side and backflips, and his knife combo has super armor on it and does way more damage, and you can fight the mercenaries mode with just his knife.
Oh wow.
And then when
Okay.
you fill up your super gauge, you transform into Boss Krauser and start like doing a 3-hit combo with his blade arm, which looks exactly like Sparta. And then on the bottom of the screen, it literally says like hold aim and fire to Stinger. It is called Stinger.
Nice.
And he does a Stinger. He does the full dash, and it's the right distance too. And it kills everything.
Okay.
The other characters are all like a ton of fun, but he's definitely the most interesting because it feels like you're halfway to a Devil May Cry game. But here's the funny thing that about Mercenaries, and they put out that DLC, the cheat DLC that you'd pay like $8 to upgrade a weapon. So the hand cannon is the traditional super weapon of RE4, and the way that you would get hand cannon in RE4 Remake is that you have to start a new game, no carrying over old weapons or bonuses, and you have to beat Professional, which is a fucked up super hard difficulty mode, and you have to beat it in under 5.5 hours, which is proper difficult. Like, people were like banging their heads at this and just struggling to get through it, like all for past 2 weeks, right? Mercenaries comes out, and hey, did you know that if you just S rank each stage once, it just unlocks the hand cannon? And S ranking those stages is trivial. It took me half an hour.
Non-sequentially?
Yeah, non-sequentially. You just do it.
Well, that's
And
more
it's
reasonable. Nice.
and it's
Yeah.
just like that. Piss
Okay.
easy, super easy, hilarious. So alongside all this mega gross DLC comes along like, here's like the easiest way it's ever been to get the strongest weapon in the game for free.
They're gonna be. I mean, the proposition of selling consumables, like Capcom's gonna just keep going in on that wherever they can, especially for the really good games. Like, I just see it being something that doesn't go away.
Oh, my mistake. I had one of the details wrong, which is this the criteria I described are for getting the infinite ammo Leon Catboy ears.
Oh,
The hand cannon is beat professional without bonus weapons, which is still a significant endeavor. But yeah, no, Capcom's gonna put out weird scam DLC 2 weeks after every game they put out now, apparently. But like, you don't need it. You really don't.
fucking first time I
You don't
ever
need
saw it was Fable 2. Buy
Oh my
coins.
god, that's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Or was it? No, wait. Which came first? Was it Fable 2 or uh, not Etrian Odyssey? The
Hmm.
Chopin one.
Oh my, Eternal Sonata.
Eternal Sonata. What? One of those two was the first time I ever saw
Oh, I
that
want to say that was
DLC.
Eternal Sonata,
Yeah, just buy coins.
and that was Koei Tecmo, I think. Namco. I can't remember. Um, Regardless, Mercs is great. Gets you the
Mm-hmm.
hand cannon super easy. The only thing I actually have to say is that Mercenaries is too easy. Like
Mm.
it's like way too easy. Like not just getting the S rank to get the hand cannon unlock, but like it maxes out at like S plus plus. And like I did that in one stream. Like bam. Though apparently there's going to be a second batch of Mercenaries content alongside the Separate Ways DLC, which apparently is going to be more difficult.
So,
So
do these modes eliminate the need for a mercenary standalone game?
we'll see when the second batch of DLC comes out that has a harder Mercenaries mode. The gold standard is still like 5 and 6 because they had co-op as well, and they had tons of stages. But the mercenaries in RE4, not only do all the characters have different weapon layouts, but they all have like special abilities that are all completely different. So it's definitely the most interesting and like broadest of them all.
Okay.
Um, like I would say that when RE5, if RE5 comes out and includes like all this types of shit with co-op, then you don't need a standalone Mercs game.
Okay.
But until they add the co-op to it, nah, people would still go for it. So the time to do that is in between now and 5.
Right.
But then they would just reuse the assets from 5, so they'd probably do it after 5.
And it's also a like it's a proposition a proposition. It's a value
Value
add.
proposition. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
to
no, it's a
whatever
huge value add.
they
It's
stick
a
on. So
massive, huge value add, particularly with 5. So they said well, they didn't say actually. People data mined that Wesker and 2 Ada Wong skins and a second Leon are going to be coming on the next batch. But who the fuck knows when that's going to be? Could be anytime.
okay.
So Mercenaries is fantastic. I have a huge list of shit here. Mercenaries is fantastic. Okay. I played Everspace 2. Do you know what that is?
No,
Do you know what Free Space is?
I've heard the name.
Okay, so there are very few games in which they give you a spaceship and then they go, why don't you fly around a solar system and do little missions and explore space and then get into dogfights and trade items from one outpost to the next and have like a little space RPG. And
Okay.
there are almost none of those. And Everspace 2 is one of those. And it just came out last week and it's fucking great.
Huh. This camera behind the ship, the way it rolls and pitches is very reminiscent of Aces of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and it has to have it has all 4 camera options. It has third person near, third person far, no HUD at all, and HUD from within the ship in the cockpit. Um it's great.
Cool.
Like I spent time dogfighting and getting like Diablo style gear with, the numbers and the colors. And then I went and did some of the story, and then I went and did some space trucking.
Is that just an X-wing? Like, no,
Maybe it
but
is, Wooly.
like, are you?
Maybe it
I
is.
mean, look, X-wing versus fucking Tie Fighter is a goddamn classic, as is Wing Commander. So like, anything that can give off those dogfighting vibes is welcome.
Let's see. Let me go to. All right. So, have you ever? I mean, you've been in this line of work for a long time, Wooly. Have you ever seen a game that everybody wants you to play, and everybody's really excited for you to play it, and then you play it, and you're like, ah, yeah,
Couple of times. It's happened a
yeah, it
couple of
happened.
times. It's a lot of people are get pretty disappointed when you're not
And
into the thing that they pegged that you for sure are gonna love.
and then you're sitting there, and you're like, I'm gonna give this a fair chance, even if I
Yup.
hate every single second of this. I
Yup.
need to see what's here. So I bought Pizza Tower
Oh
and I streamed Pizza
no.
Tower.
Oh no. Oh man,
So
there's so much excitement about Pizza Tower.
there's so much excitement about Pizza Tower.
Uh-oh.
And Pizza Tower's wild because it's one of those things where I'm looking at it and I'm like, what is this? This is like a throwback to something, but I don't know what the throwback is. And so I go, what is the throwback? And then people in the chat start saying, well, it's a throwback to these cartoons from the 90s. And I go, I have never seen one of those cartoons.
Yeah,
And then they say, well, it's a throwback to Wario Land. And I go, I have never played a Wario Land game.
the tackle running is very, very Wario Land, as well as running through the pipes in the green world.
Right.
The animation style is definitely got a little bit of Rocco's Modern Life to it.
Yeah, I have seen Rocco. I have.
Yeah, it's got some of that.
So
It's got like some of the
so I'm
crazier
sitting there.
John K stuff, ripping friends and shit.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, well, I don't have any of the background, so I'm gonna have to just go on it raw, like raw first impression. My first impression was, this is the first game I have ever played on a computer in which it was so bright
Mm-hmm.
in color. I
Mm-hmm.
had to do most of that stream with my sunglasses on
There like
because
nothing is shaded. Everything is flat color bright to the extremes, which is also an art style. I mean, if you think about how like Commander Keen used to look back in the day, right?
yeah.
It's also like that style of sprite.
Like,
Um,
I get what they're going for and they're nailing it, but it is unironically eye searing. Um
yeah, MS Paint bucket.
and and then I start to play it and I'm like, okay, this is from the Sonic school of gotta go fast. Jumps and rolls and wall runs are gonna be perfectly timed to get the good, the good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I start to run into problems because the game that it wants to be is not the game that I want to play. So I'm like consistently slowing down to pick up all the items instead of screaming past everything to try and get a top time. I'm like hugging all of the walls to try and find where the secret rooms are, like you would in a Sonic or like a Donkey Kong game. And more than anything, by far more than anything, that game is the kind of game that has like a run button, like
Mm-hmm.
has a button that turns you in a run state. And that run state has a lot of speed. It makes you mostly invincible, but it also has a huge amount of inertia and momentum.
Okay.
Right. So it's like you hit the button, you start running, and if you hit like the other direction, your character will like slow down, turn, and then speed up in the other direction, that kind of thing. And it feels really heavy. And I hate that. Like
Mm,
it is one of those
interesting.
games. Like it is one of the best examples of something that I describe where I pick up a game and I move 5 feet and jump once, and that's going to decide whether or not I like it or not.
Can
And
you
in this case, I'm like, oh, it feels so heavy.
can you blast through the levels like just as quickly as possible and then immediately replay it to collect?
Yes.
Okay.
And collecting items is only for score. And it does do something really cool, which is when you get to the end of the level, it wants you to run the level backwards as fast as you possibly can because a big pizza monster is going to eat you.
Okay.
But on your second playthrough of the level, you can run it so fast that when you get back to the entrance, there's a teleport which brings you back to the end of the level for a second lap to do it again.
Whoa.
So that like to get extra points. So it's like, are you confident enough to not only sprint this level, but sprint it twice within the timer? So that's really cool, and like all the mechanics to it and all the way that it works, I'm like, that's really cool. I bet you could get really good at this, and you could just do really well and get great times and feel great. And the art style and the boss design and the crazy good music. Like you remember how you felt playing Meat Boy, and you're like, I could play this fucking level forever because the Meat Boy soundtrack is so good.
Nice.
Definitely that is happening. Like the soundtrack is incredible, but I hate touching the game.
Interesting.
Every act of movement and control was me going like, nah, like just not for me.
Every like shot of like a stretch of wall being destroyed into a like little like shine spark corner, and then you go up a wall and then down a thing looks fucking awesome to me. Like that looks proper, like, you know, Sonic momentum, and then you kill a couple things and then you blast off again. That looks pretty dope.
Yeah, it's like I play Sonic games like a weirdo. I actually play through Sonic games, and I like Sonic 3's platforming. I like the way Sonic feels when you move him, and you like when you jump on when you fall off something high and then you jump off of like you pop like a box and then it launches you to fucking space. Like that's what I like. That like if I had to pick one thing about the way I like Sonic's controls, it would be that. But yeah, no, it's like I feel bummed out because like everybody excited and in love for Pizza Tower, and I'm just like,
it happens.
I love everything about this game except the way it looks and the way it plays.
Well, so I was gonna say, like, the aesthetic of it definitely, like, you have to you don't have to have a connection to that, but it is reminiscent of a lot of that like old shit we mentioned, and it's pretty cool if you do recognize that. I feel like there's an exact cartoon that probably comes super like close to what this looks like that I can't think of, you know? But the eyeballs bulging, the madness of the animation, the weirdness of the different ingredients. Cow and chicken is really close in terms of character design. Not in terms of and then you take that, but you combine it with MS Paint flat filled Commander Keen ass lighting and sprite work. Let's go with cow and chicken on that.
And I had like the incredibly wild feeling of like, all right, I gave it my shot. I am absolutely done with Pizza Tower. And then you close the Steam window, right? And you exit out and you're like, and I only played it for an hour and 34 minutes. So back it goes.
Interesting.
I hope everybody enjoyed the stream and thought about maybe buying Pizza Tower if they liked what they saw, but I am definitely not going to keep it because I am never going to play Pizza Tower ever again.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow.
Like that is not refund. For me.
Okay.
I think the funniest version of that is a million years ago when Matt and I bought and played Resident Evil Umbrella Corps, the shittiest Resident Evil game that existed, to do like a video for it, and we had a stopwatch like going to make sure we didn't go over 2 hours.
Jesus. Yeah.
Because fuck that.
What I am surprised by is how when I heard about this game / saw like fan art of it and stuff, it was being compared with Celeste, and this
Yeah,
is
okay, I can see that. Celeste has a lot of collectible stuff, but Celeste's physics feel good to me. I really like the way Celeste feels.
mm,
This, like Celeste, you stop on a dime, right? Like Celeste is like you have hyper control and a double jump,
but you're also not
whereas
like you're not really doing combat, you know.
no, and whereas in Pizza Wario Land Tower, like you are supposed to be hitting that sprint and just never ever slowing down for any reason. And I'm like, I don't like that. I like to slowly explore the level and get the items in my 2D platformer.
Yeah,
I
okay.
know.
I mean,
I'm sad about Pizza Tower. You may love Pizza Tower.
it
Who
looks like
knows?
it looks like a game I'd like. It looks like a game I'd really enjoy. I'm also getting vibes of um, um, Drill Dozer from it as well. Like there's shit like
Yeah, I can
that
see
that
that.
I'm super into. Yeah. But I do feel like what you're describing kind of reminds me of like the parts of how like Hi-Fi Rush progression bugged me. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
it's like just little things that like you're like I wish it didn't. You know, but anyways, yeah, I'll have to see what's up with it.
I will say that, like, out of everything, the music is like it's incredible. It has a fucking incredible soundtrack.
Nice.
Um, let's see what else we got. Almost last but not least. Okay, so I've talked a lot about Neo and Neo 2 and fucking Wo Long on this
Mm-hmm.
podcast over
Mm-hmm.
time. And way back in the day, Square Enix offered me a sponsored code for Stranger of Paradise, which had like completely absurd conditions all over it, and it like made me aware that the game starts with Frank Sinatra singing over it.
Yep, I
And
remember
that
that
was during
list.
the height of like the DMCA apocalypse. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I'm not going to get into it. I don't particularly care for Frank Sinatra's music. So it was just like this slam dunk of things to keep me away, which is unfortunate because the Kill Chaos shit is actually as funny as you thought it was and is contiguous. Um, but I've been playing Stranger of Paradise because the Steam version came out. And first of all, the Steam version ran like shit on my computer.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is bullshit. I have a fancy computer with new computer parts. And why does video game run bad? And then you get the really frustrating one where you look and people are saying like, that's really weird, dude. I have a significantly worse computer than you do, and the game's running great for me. And not like works fine on my machine. Like you see that over and over and over. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
weird. I have a bad computer and the thing runs great. So I did some digging and discovered there is a reason why every now and then I run into games that run like shit on my personal computer, which is brand new, but really good on other people's older computers. And that is because of a phenomenon called an E-core. Are you familiar with an E-core?
No.
So in 12th and 13th generation um, processors from Intel, very similar to hyperthreading. I know you remember that from way back. They have put in a 32 core CPU that has 8 performance cores, which are the really fast parts of the CPU, and then 24 E cores, which are basically cut down versions of the cores that are there to offload miscellaneous tasks so that the performance cores could go very fast, right? Well, games that are coded badly and haven't been updated since the release of the 12th and 13th generation Intel CPUs go, oh, we'll just spread the CPU load across every core for whatever. And then they dump the game onto like the shittiest, slowest parts of your CPU, which lead to it stuttering like a fucking mess. And it's the same problem
Oh.
that used to happen when you would get a hyper-threading CPU and all of a sudden games would just like fall to fucking pieces. And you're like, why is it what? And you turn off hyper-threading and all of a sudden like, oh my God, it works great now. So literally all I did was I downloaded a program called Process Lasso and said, "Hey, Stranger of Paradise, I want you to be high priority for the CPU at all times." And all of a sudden, it puts it on the right parts of the CPU
You had to
and
get
works.
third-party software to do that?
Well, I could have gone into my BIOS and turn off the E-cores and do that every time I wanted to boot Stranger of Paradise, but I didn't want to do that.
And then switch it back for everything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also discovered lots of other games have such a weird problem, like Civ 6 does not like E-cores, for example. But regardless, have the game running very, very nice, pretty smooth. And what I've discovered is that it is by far the best of the 4 Neo games. By
Interesting.
far.
Okay.
Far and away easy the best one.
Now, what right off the bat makes you say that?
So you know how it's an infuriating fucking mess that the gear problem as it is? Stranger Paradise has gear. It has tons and tons and tons of gear, right? And when you get to the end game, you are going to be doing like the Diablo, I'm going to run this boss 10 times so I can get all purples and make a build kind of thing, right? But what Stranger of Paradise doesn't have is equip weight or stamina. So when you're in your inventory and you want to use the better gear, you hit the select button and it just equips all the shit with the highest numbers because it doesn't have to factor in equip load or stamina. So in Neo, I would go, oh, I want to, just equip the stuff with the higher number. Yeah, well, equipping the stuff with the higher number in Neo also includes making sure that, oh, I have the right roll, I have the right stamina requirements, I can't go too high, I can't. So it's not actually just equip everything with the high. It's after every stage, go to the weapon, the highest number, then go to each different piece, the head, the armor, blah blah blah, and go through that process, right? At the end of the mission in Stranger of Paradise, I hit the touchpad and everybody get the highest gear, fastest, good, go up. Excellent.
Okay.
Good.
So builds are not really a concern per se. It's just you get better equipment and that's it.
So much like Neo and like builds aren't like builds are absolutely a thing in all 4 of these games. But in Neo, like it's this thing of like, well, I'm still having to micromanage my inventory all the time, even though I can't make any builds because I'm not far enough into the game, right? With Stranger of Paradise, yeah, I can't make any builds because I'm not far enough into the game. So I'm going to hit the button that will just auto-equip the highest gear possible. And when I do get far enough into the game where builds are mattering, I'm going to stop auto-equipping and I'm going to make a complicated auto-dismantle system, which is also provided. And then I can work from there. But I don't have to spend every single mission micromanaging like my equip load. It's like it had me in this moment where I'm sitting there and I made a joke of it, but like, was stamina a mistake? And no, of course not. But for these types of games, yeah, actually, it totally is.
Well, what you're describing is also way more in line with Final Fantasy than it is with, like the other Neo-like games. So if they're going to do
I just
something
looked over
in universe.
and saw somebody sum it up perfectly, which is in Strangers of Paradise, the shallow end of the pool exists. Like it is there. And so I can actually go through these levels, enjoy them, appreciate how every level is a Final Fantasy 1 nonsensical style tribute level to a different game. So you waltz into any particular level and it has some story justification like, oh, this is a lot like Dimension 14. This is a lot like Dimension 2. This is a lot like Dimension 13. And it will happen to be a Final Fantasy 1 location that has been styled in the version of a later Final Fantasy location.
Like I don't the Neo stuff is like it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you, but it is still something that when you think of there's a particular skill I want to get, let me go back through my copies of this armor to see if it has it on that one.
Yeah.
And I'm reminded of like how annoying that got in Transformers Devastation, I guess, the Platinum one. with the copies of the guns and stuff like that, with the minor adjustments to the its ability. And yeah, I imagine there are still people that love that kind of micro and
Mhm.
are able to do incredible things with it if everything you're wearing amps up something that you've
Oh,
already
and
built your stats towards.
Stranger
And
Paradise totally has all that,
okay,
right? Like you're making builds that have 8,000,000% crit damage, or
yeah,
if
exactly,
you
exactly,
if you
yeah.
do damage, it heals you, and if you do enough damage, you can't die. Stuff like that.
Hmm.
But you get there. You don't have to deal with the microcosm of the constant inventory management on every level of every part of the game until you get there.
Okay.
And also on top of that, in its just general system, like it feels like snappier and more impactful than the other three games in this franchise series. I don't know what to call it.
Are you leveling up
And
individual stats in this as well?
no, you're not.
Hmm.
There's only one thing you are leveling up in this game, and that's your jobs, because it's a Final Fantasy game.
FF, yeah.
So you're leveling up. Hey, I started with swordsman or marauder or Lancer, and oh well, I unlocked the end of pugilist and Lancer, so now I get to unlock dragoon or sage or red mage or what have you, and you're going down what is essentially a sphere grid.
Hmm.
And at the bottom of each of the sphere grid is the node you need to unlock the next class, or the next job. And as you go down this list, you will unlock, oh, here's a new move that you can equip to an R1 combo. Here's a new move that you can equip to whatever. And switching jobs and switching weapons is separated, which is strange. So if you say like the axe, like crazy,
Hmm.
right? There's actually like 10 different classes that can use the axe. Like dragoons can use the axe. You'll still keep jump. Jump will still be your job ability, and you'll still get all the passives from dragoon, but your actual like melee attacks will be the axe moves. And so you
Oh,
can mix and match
that's
it as you would
nice. Okay.
expect from a Final Fantasy job system.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
like
Yeah.
when I was playing Black Mage, I could play Black Mage with a mace and a shield. I could play Black Mage with a flail that acts like an extending staff and a gun. And you just get to keep the full weapon system for all those things. But R2, when you're neutral, will do black magic instead of whatever the class you would normally associate with it. It's
Hmm.
great.
Interesting. Yeah, it's I guess another one of these cases where like they're like what they build is for a particular style of action game fan on their own, but when they get to crossover with another franchise, you can incorporate stuff from that franchise to like streamline the process or
Mhm.
experiment in weird ways that you otherwise wouldn't. You know, like when you throw Metal Gear into character action, you get the things that Revengeance does that the others don't, you know?
Mhm.
Interesting.
So, overall, yeah, super kind of like amazed with it. It's stellar. I wish the world hadn't conspired to push me away from it earlier, because I ran into this situation where I go, man, I'd really like to play Stranger of Paradise, but the Neo Gear thing really is pushing me away. And then I got the weirdest feedback ever, which was first response, oh yeah, you don't have to worry about that, just hit auto equip, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Second response, it's the game that has the most gear, and the gearing up is the most important. Like, come, what does that mean? And what it means is that those are both true, but unlike the others, it's actually a fairly clean sliding scale from when you start to when you end.
So, I have a friend who went through it and beat it on like hardest difficulty with the DLC and all the extra
Yeah.
shit and like the final challenges, yada yada. And he was basically telling me that the end DLC on the hardest difficulties like requires you to master the build system
Yeah.
in a way
It,
that
it
is like you have to have a broken character and you have to tweak it to be broken in the right ways.
yeah. So the way the DLC in that game works is fairly straight. It works like Diablo, Whereas like in Diablo, you beat normal, then hard, then Inferno, then Inferno 2, then Inferno 3, then Inferno 4, etc. And it scales and the gear scales alongside it. In Stranger of Paradise, all the DLCs mandate that you beat them on the new difficulties that the DLC itself introduced. Which includes breaking the level cap and doing all sorts of stuff. And it's like, okay, once you hit the DLC or post game, yeah, then you're breaking it open. Then you are like, no, I need to make a busted character, which is how the Neo DLCs were. But because of the way the auto equip works, I'm feeling this like nice smooth gradient there, instead of just constantly being annoyed of that I have to go through the goddamn equipment over and over and over. Like, if you can make it as busted at the end as you want. I have played loot games in which I've had to make fucked up characters that are cheating the game. But like the micromanaging of like trash equipment is infuriating. Like that's kind of what I want to get to. Like, cause Neo always had the same thing. Neo, you also want to make broken characters for the end of for your DLC in the end of the game. But you still had to micromanage gear that sucked and didn't have anything cool on it and was just like, constantly annoying.
There is a cool thing when you take like a bunch of shitty gear and then you fuse it down into your one that you like so that you keep these really good skills, right? Yeah. There's something about that is like, oh yeah, I'm making my thing better, and it has like a bunch of slots that I can improve.
Yeah, there's also there's two other things. One is like, man, getting to a Koei Tecmo game after the end of its life is so fucking wild compared to playing it at the beginning. Like I'm starting Stranger of Paradise up, and people are telling me like, oh, it sucks this game doesn't have the ability to change your appearance permanently. No, it does now. And then followed by that is like, hey, make sure you don't sell or dismantle the starting gear, like Jack and Jed and Ash with their normal ass clothes. Well, because if you dismantle those, you won't be able to get them back till the end of the game. Well, actually, no, at some point they made it so you can't dismantle them, so that you can always make them look like that. And just little things here and there of like, oh, this is a substantially much, much better game than it was when it came out.
Trademark of Team Ninja.
It's great. The other thing, and this is for me and people like me, the game had it had to action game a lot of Final Fantasy abilities that have never been in an action game, right? It has like 30 jobs. Like, it has damn near everything I've ever heard of, and it needs to have move sets for all the different weapons. And so they went, okay, where are we going to steal animations from to get these action moves? And the answer is Final Fantasy 14. So
naturally,
when I picked up an axe in Stranger of Paradise and did the axe 3-hit combo, I'm like, oh my god, that is Butcher's Block, a move that no longer exists in FF14, but it did for 6 years, and it was my favorite animation that Warriors had. And then the, tap forward and hit attack button. Oh, with the axe, it's a poke with the hack's head. I'm like, oh, that's Fracture, another move that no longer exists in FF14. But here it is. Look, there it is. And this is across like move sets. This is across like job abilities. Like, and of course 14 took those from old Final Fantasy games. But then this one also took them from there. It's like, I feel like somebody took the thing that I really like and then they took a big piece of it and made it into an action game. Makes me excited.
I imagine that like Team Ninja was just given access to a ridiculously massive library of animations to pick from for everything.
Well, it's not the same animation. It's a completely new bespoke animation for Stranger of Paradise.
It's reminiscent.
So they actually they looked at everything you could do in what have you, and then they just took the cool shit. And as a result, I'm constantly just like, oh yay, it's that, because it's a tribute game. So I'm going to Palamecia Castle from Final Fantasy 2, and I'm doing a little clap because I know that thing, and I fight Garland or the Black Knight or whatever. I'm like, oh yay, I know that thing, and then I'm using abilities on classes that I currently play in 14, but done in a fancy big action game. And I'm like, oh yay, I love that. And like that's not the appeal, but it's nice to have.
Everything's gonna be referencing 14 for a long time, because not only is it a
16
giant,
is gonna be
it's a giant repository of FF related content. It's also immensely popular, and it had like the most effort put into it, and like it would make sense for things to pull from that as much as they can. Like I see that being a fucking template to pull from for a long time.
So that's more or less it for me this week. I played so many sequels. Like Pizza Tower isn't a sequel, and like Stranger of Paradise technically isn't a sequel, right? But RE4 sure is, and RE4 is a remake of a sequel, and it's a sequel in its own right. Ooh. So like I can't stop thinking about sequels. Particularly, we talk about games a lot, and how like sequels seem derivative in most mediums, but like here they're fantastic in general. And I started thinking a lot about like how I feel about sequels and like what my personal favorite sequel has been or what it could be. And I think I know what it is. I think my favorite sequel to anything would be me. A sequel to me.
Where, you know what? Here, so you're setting up the bit. Go ahead.
What I'm trying to say, Wooly, is that I am going to be a father.
Congratulations. Thank is wild. Holy shit.
I'll admit, I'm a little shaky right now. Yeah. So we're going to have a baby, and it is we are going to have Pat 2 the sequel. That is not the final name.
Okay.
We have a list, but we haven't fully decided on. But for now, we'll just go with the sequel to me.
Okay. Congratulations. That's one hell of a way to one up the move from last week rather.
So I have a lot more to talk about this week.
Holy shit.
I was gonna talk about it last week. I was sitting here just kind of getting myself psyched up, and then I noticed you're in a different location, and I'm like, and you're like, I moved. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna do it now. I don't want to be that guy. Who wants to be that
guy? Holy shit. Okay. What's going on?
So, this has been a long time coming. This has been the plan for many years. You probably remember I used to be a guy who was like, having babies is stupid. And people who have kids are dumb. I don't know what it is, but at some point I was in a grocery store and I saw some kid in the basket going like, doing the baby flail and like laughing. And I went, oh, that kid's cute. And I went, uh-oh. Uh-oh, there, uh-oh. Uh-oh, there it is. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And that was a while ago. So let's see. Moved out of Quebec to BC, lost a bunch of weight, started eating real healthy, got this separate office so that you guys can't hear anything if there's anything in the house, right? So that like basically all of these things have been like prep for a long time. Like this has been so we made the decision we're gonna start, right, where everything's ready. We're gonna start the process of having the baby. And wouldn't you know it, first shot, first try, immediately.
Congrats.
So
That's crazy.
it's the month that we started trying, and Paige is sitting there and she's stealing food off my plate. She is just grabbing it. She is just taking it from me and eating it. I go, that's weird. And then she went to mop the floor and then looked at the dirty water and had to run to the bathroom and barf. And this is like 10 days
Wow.
into the decision of the start of the process.
Wow.
And I'm like, are you pregnant? She's like, no, that's ridiculous. Sure enough, many pregnancy tests later, she absolutely is pregnant.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
Like, there's a lot of parts of this story. I actually wrote down a little list of things that I wanted to talk about. First of all, everything is great. All the scans are perfect. Everything is normal. Paige's health is fantastic. There is only one detail that came out on the ultrasound of note, and that is, unfortunately, my boy will be inheriting my tiny legs. It's even visible on the ultrasound.
Oh, okay. And you have boy confirmed.
Boy confirmed. Yeah,
okay.
Both by blood test and by ultrasound. This even goes back a long time to like when me and Paige took our 23andMe tests, right? Got to make sure there's nothing waiting in the wings on that, and there wasn't. Perfect.
Right.
And I went through and I was like, you know what? This isn't, I want to make sure to do this right, and I want to make sure that everything's fine. So we went through the process of getting everything checked out a couple years ago. I tell you, Wooly, getting your boys checked out at the doctor for this purpose is deeply awkward.
Really?
It is so awkward because it's always a young woman working the desk who hands you the cup and says, well, you can go in that room and use your phone or whatever.
You do what you got to do.
And you just bring it back and hand it to me. And when you're all on, and it's just, it's so weird. I know.
That's science. You got to do it for science, man.
But when you get your nice little sheet that says, hey, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a little fat, right? I'm like, that can affect it. So I'll check it out. I'm like, no problem. Turns out, Wooly, I really am secretly a Frenchman. Because there's nothing stopping these swimmers.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
So good for me. Ha ha.
God damn. Okay. Well, all that's left is the mental game.
Oh yeah.
Right? Getting in.
Yeah. So
getting into that.
Intermittent excitement. And like a new kind of excitement. Like a weird pride excitement and terror. I'm just thinking this even goes all the way back to like when we got Zangief. Like, why'd you get a bulldog? Well, we wanted a dog that was excellent with children. Right? A lazy, friendly dog that would be really good around a baby. I forgot to mention it. So Paige is eating everything and everything makes her throw up. And then she had to go to the dentist. So I don't know if you know this, but when you are newly pregnant, your gums are a like explosion of blood.
Oh.
So she's getting her teeth cleaned and she is like, blood is like shooting out of her mouth.
Whoa.
Like just like awash with blood. Lady goes, "That's crazy. You're not pregnant, are you?" Sure enough.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So there's signs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just actually like just literally today I found out that like apparently your hair pauses growing.
I don't know about that.
There's like a thing where your hair pauses growing as well when that happens. So, like there's a couple of things that are just like like not often mentioned little details that are like, oh yeah, when you get pregnant, like all kinds of shit starts to change.
Well, I
Huh.
can tell you what. Oh, Paige just messaged me that her hair is actually, in fact, growing like crazy.
Oh wow. Okay.
Um, and I can
Well,
tell you that you get to find out all sorts of things about the
mm-hmm.
miracle of pregnancy,
Mm-hmm.
including Paige has like 3 times as much blood per volume as usual.
Wow.
Just carry lots and lots of blood.
Okay.
And
So
um,
uh uh this is the like I guess what time frame are you looking at here?
so it will come as a surprise to many, but Paige is actually 5.5 months along.
Okay.
Um,
Imminent. Okay.
um, and baggy clothes are powerful weapons in terms of hiding the bump,
Damn.
because there is
Okay.
a bump.
Okay.
And but we're hitting the realistic limits
Yeah.
of how much a baggy hoodie can do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's about as magic as you can fucking get. Wow.
So for those of you who follow Paige's streams, Paige has been pregnant since all the way back in Disco Elysium.
That's crazy. Holy shit.
Um,
Damn. Camera angles, clothing, like figuring that shit
um,
out. That's wild. Okay.
um,
Wow.
so, um, oh, it's so the trip to Tofino was not explicitly a honeymoon. It was also a baby moon.
Mm-hmm.
One of the last big hurrah on a nice place before we're going to be locked down a little bit more, taking care of our infant child.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, Poor Paige. So, pregnancy symptoms vary wildly.
Yeah.
This woman had the morning sickness for like 4 months. Like, just,
Jeez.
hey, did any food that gets you at all, is it in the house? Ugh. Like, just constant gagging. So Paige has always had a great sense of smell. She can smell food that's not in the house. She can smell things from like 200 feet away. Like, it's so powerful. And then it makes her gag. Well, that time has passed,
Okay.
thankfully. Um,
Jeez.
but
Wow.
again, to reiterate, because I know that people would be worried, Paige is in the peak of health. Actually, never been better.
Hmm.
And we have our doctors monitoring her as they would, just absolutely A+ across the board. Other than the fact that she's having to deal with the fact that, you know how the Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes one day?
Mm-hmm.
That will happen to your wife's chest.
Right. Yes. This
And
is one of the known.
I'm looking at my wife and I don't know how she walks around without tipping over.
Mm-hmm.
It is out of control.
Yeah, that is one of the symptoms that we hear about pretty often. There's a
Yeah.
lot
Well,
you
yeah,
don't
because
that
you're like, boobies.
yeah,
Ah.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
Um,
Shit. Yeah. Well, so I mean, that's the thing though, like in terms of like timelines and such. Like it just that it makes sense because um like I think like there's similar ideas in that like okay, you have where you were before and then
mm,
you want to and like step 1 is you figure out like a vehicle, and step 2 is you figure out a house, and step 3 is you figure out the plan, you know?
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. And I feel like yeah, like that it lines up 1, 2, 3.
So the part of the plan was, you know, we want to move to a bigger space because the space that we were at was great for being single or, you know, young couple. And we're going through the process. And I'm like, and I put my foot down and I'm like, not in Quebec, not doing it. Not just because of, you know, the bad experiences that we had where we used to live. Paige was more than willing to find some place like on the West Island or something like that, right? And then like as we're discussing the plan, I'm like reading the news and I'm like, oh cool, more language laws coming down the pipe. More of them, including like quotas on CEGEPs and where you could go to school. And I'm just like, I'm not doing this with a kid. And then I talked to my dad, who is obviously very sad to see us go. And he's like, if I was your age then and I could do, yeah, I would have done it. I'm like, good, thanks, Dad. Appreciate it. That meant a lot. So gotta get somewhere with the, you know, room for baby, good schools, all that stuff.
So, I mean, that's something that like I did see a lot of that stuff. And I mean, full disclosure, like, you know, getting a place like this is also part of that timeline, right?
Yeah,
That's exactly what we're lining up. And you can't, the last place had no closed doors, so it's insane. You know, you need closed doors to make this work.
What the conversation did happen where we're sitting around like, what the fuck is that guy gonna do with no closed doors?
Yeah, no, the answer is exactly. So then this is the step to get that, and then now we have the closed doors so we can figure out the rest. The thing with like the Quebec and everything, like I have been talking to some of my family members that have been growing up and the way they've been going to school here, and it's pretty interesting because before there used to be like French immersion, English immersion, and then different levels of like integration. They now have programs that are right down the middle, 50-50 bilingual. And overall, like I had worries about how that was going to go down for like, you know, kids in the language stuff. And I got really encouraging news about that from the kids in my family currently, you know? And it was overall pretty like, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And then there was a level of that too, where, since, not just here, but like, with Punch Mom's Acadian roots, there's a level of French that we do want to exist, you know?
Of course. Like, I'll be very blunt. This kid's gonna know a second language.
Yeah, it's just useful.
It's just don't know what that second language is no longer assigned by default.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's just useful to have that, you know? But again, we've talked about this type of stuff, and to me, I just love this city like so much, and I don't see myself ever leaving it. Like we've talked about that years ago too. I remember a while back, you know. But like, yeah, it's something that I just the things that matter to me when it comes down to it are things I hold dear about.
Right.
This, you know, the places I love and
I mean, what's going to work differently for anybody is not my place to judge or even comment on, right? I think this is going to be the best for the baby in the long term, and I have to be a responsible man now.
Yeah,
I can't just think about me and the wife. I gotta think about little Pat Jr. and what's best for him.
Lamaze classes and whatever the fuck. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of this new era of plaid wearing and responsibility
falls into place a little bit.
You've been prepping for what's to
Yeah.
come, and you've
Well,
been
I gotta
becoming.
get. I'm in BC. I gotta wear the plaid so that I can hang out with the other dads.
Of course, but you've also got to become somebody who's like taking on this responsibility.
Wooly, I have to tell you, there's part of this. There's a part of this that only you will ever understand. You know how you saw your parents say or do stupid shit, but it's like a childhood memory, and you're like, that was funny. But you never actually got to see your parent embarrass themselves constantly.
Uh-huh.
Ollie, there is so much footage of me saying the stupidest things in the world and being cringe.
A lifetime
A lifetime
committed
of cringe
to
available
video and
to
audio.
my son to see.
And it will not be left behind in a different era. It's right there. And it's gonna continue to be. Yes, I've had this thought. I've had this thought deeply, long, and I've really sat and just went, there's infinite footage of nonsense. Whatever the fuck
Like-
you think you're gonna pretend to be, is that like facade will come down the moment they get online.
Wooly, I have been on this show and on my show and on your show for years being like, hey kids, don't use condoms. Just don't. Terrible. They feel awful. Just don't use them. And now when I'm going to be raising a son, I'm going to have to explain to him that was a joke. Jokes. Funny jokes. Also, don't do crack cocaine.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't do it.
I mean, like, you don't even have to worry of, like, even if access is like, even if they don't get to hear or see it, the titles of the content, just the
this podcast has become an albatross around the neck
is a liability
of my future reputation.
It is absolutely a liability. Yeah, no, I've thought long and deep and hard about exactly this, and the day that it would come, that it'd be like, okay, well, chicken's coming home to roost. Now what?
I feel kind of bad because, like, we went and got the ultrasound, and we got like a private ultrasound that has like a better like 4D view, so you can really see. And we're looking at little baby Pat Jr. and we're like, okay, well, there's the short legs, and that just looks like my baby photos. that is like. My wife, who is doing all of the hard work, is just cloning me. And now I'm sitting here going, oh no, there's going to be a clone of me around.
There's two choices you have when it comes to reconciling all of this, right? And one is the deep warranted shame of what you've created over these years and have put out there onto the Internet Archive forever. And the second option is to quadruple down and yell that that colostomy bag joke paid for your fucking tuition.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no. Hey, listen. You don't judge how I provide for you. If I'm gonna put on the clown makeup and dance and have the pies thrown at me, then that's what we're gonna do. So I can put food on your table, mister.
That sore orifice joke paid for dinner and will continue to do so. So you accept that.
Bully,
yeah,
I'm doomed. I was such a smart ass when I was a kid. And you're like, well, okay, maybe the kid won't take after me. Guess who else was a smart ass as a child? My wife. There's no hope, man. That kid's gonna run circles around me. They're gonna call me cringe. I'm boomering out here, man.
Oh God, you'll never be based again.
Was I ever based, dude?
Like, one can have based takes without ever actually being based themselves. I think that's a required understanding. God damn.
I've been like this whole stream, I gotta admit, I've been twitching.
Mm-hmm.
This is This is the
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing that will ever happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so exciting, but it's also very scary because I'm an idiot. I'm a dumbass.
I mean, bigger, dumber people have also had kids.
Yeah,
so,
like our parents.
so,
You know what? I'm just thinking. I just told a story today about my dad going, you know, you don't need to be careful around electricity, and then watching him like electrocute himself nearly to death to fix a VCR. I'm like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I could just
Mm-hmm.
why don't I just stay away from that?
Yeah.
I'll just not do that.
Yep. Yep. You can start applying extra levels of that's unnecessary. You have no reason for that. Um, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about like, the whole, parenthood and all that thing and the worries and the frets and the thoughts and the stresses and all the things that run through your mind. And
Yeah.
um, it was pretty cool because there was like a takeaway that someone had. Everyone has these little bits, but a simple one
Yeah.
there was like, don't worry too much about all that stuff because all they really need is you,
Yeah.
right?
And I'm cool and likable.
That's not what I'm saying.
Damn it.
Just be present and be there and as long as you're there and they're
Yeah.
like fully able to get that from you, it'll work itself out. It'll be okay.
So I mean, obviously, eagle-eyed and eagle-eared viewers will have seen little bits and pieces of this in the past, year or so. But like, I'm starting to change. Like
You're
my
beginning to
head,
morb.
my I am starting to morb, and there's one specific moment that stands out really clearly. And like, oh, I'm already like very significantly starting to change. I was playing RE4 Remake on stream, and I shot some dude with a shotgun, and he flew the fuck apart into a million pieces. And I went, when I was 11, I played the Resident Evil games, and those were really violent. But like, that's different. This is really crazy violent. I can't believe people would let their 10-year-olds play this. I'm like, oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
it's already
Mm-hmm.
starting. It's already starting.
The shift. Oh boy. Oh
And people
boy.
have noticed that my jokes are getting worse. Of course they're getting worse. They're dad jokes now.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh boy. Like does Pat Starrett enter the PG era?
No, there's no hope of that.
After the Attitude era comes the PG.
No, and there's no hope of that because like you're sitting there in the natal appointments, right? And you're like, don't swear at the doctor. Don't. I know you're nervous. So don't call something a motherfucker in the doctor's office when you're looking at the ultrasound. Come on, don't be cool. Be like a presentable human adult. Okay, did it.
It's just like it's always gonna fall apart the moment they go, okay, and so what do you do? What's your profession? Like there's just a moment where you're just like, yeah, YouTube. It's just you can't
and Twitch.
you can't hold that fucking facade up. But oh man, congratulations. That's fucking wild.
So
That's
we're announcing now at
yeah.
5.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
We want, so usually you wait at least a couple of months, and
Confirm
then
everything. Yeah.
we wanted to kind of enjoy this it's very special, it's very strange, and very, in our privacy, right? But also I'm also like simultaneously like bursting at the seams to like tell everybody, right? Because I did it, we right. So
Nice
you
headshot.
mentioned what's our
Nice headshot.
Oh, that reminds me. I'll send something to you, wolves. Let me go and find it for you. There it is. Just take a copy paste of this, and there you go. That's for you. Ultrasounds have come a long way. Because I remember when I was a kid, my dad looking at an ultrasound going, I don't know where the baby's at. And it's like, now, no, you could tell. There's the head, there's the finger.
Yeah.
There's the little arms.
Getting ready to talk shit.
It's
gonna talk so much shit.
Much shit, dude. me and Paige were eating lunch earlier before this, and we were talking about like, I know what I'm gonna do, because like you see kids say outrageous shit to their parents, right? And they'll talk shit, and it's like, here's the problem.
Wow.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. But don't laugh. Don't laugh. You're gonna encourage it. So like I'm gonna be dealing with like a 3-year-old who says he doesn't have to listen to me because I'm fat, and I'm gonna have to stand there and just go.
Like
that's not nice to say.
No, you will get roasted, and the dynamic where mom and kid double down on you as the target point is just another. It's just another flex. It's just another new angle to it, right?
Yeah.
What's better than dunking on you? An assist into the double fucking hang time air, slam windmill from the kid. Now you can't abuse the superpower that comes with like whispering sick burns to the kid to go relay
I'm not gonna do that. I'm afraid of my wife. I won't do that. She'll get me.
That's dangerous.
But oh man, so
and the little legs right down there and everything.
The tiny little legs that have followed my family for their entire existence. Hopefully, he'll have a long torso like his mama and be like a normal height. But who knows? I'm not holding my breath. Not gonna hold my breath on that one.
That is, that the health news as well is super awesome. Like that's the type of thing that, like, all kidding aside, like with Paige, health is a concern,
Yeah, but it has not been a concern at all.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
Eating well, cutting out caffeine, moving out to this fresh air, exercising more,
taking all the XP boosters and
dude, we have been taking
super fucking rare candies,
prenatal vitamins for like 18 months.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I'm not taking prenatals. I've been taking like, men's health vitamins.
Yada yada.
Right. Because like I probably am missing something. Right. So let's just make sure that everything is in perfect working order. And like, sure enough, perfect working order. Like it has this moment of like, you're planning the process and you're like, okay, well, we'll see. It'll be a couple of months, maybe. And like, no, now.
Okay.
Now.
Okay.
Starting now. You think you have a lead up. No, it's now.
Because sometimes, right, after all the XP boosters, then you go down to like, you take a step over and eventually you're like, I'm using the Guatemalan pepper spice that only grows here at this time of year. And they say that if you do this on a full moon, then this is gonna, and it starts getting a little bit more dicey.
Apparently I just need to be somewhere in the vicinity of my wife.
Like Family Matters, like Urkel just kisses Laura and then
it's like, it's magic.
There you go. Damn. 6 or approaching 6.
Yeah, so you want to hear the day-to-day funniest thing? I lost a lot of weight, but I still got a nice, healthy dad pouch, I'm going to call it, orb. affection, much affection in the home has moved to Christian side hugs because I can't. If I'm looking right at my wife and I go to, nothing's happening. I can't reach her. There's too much orb. Mine for show, hers for purpose.
You're already getting blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like this has been my sympathy pregnancy orb that I've been working on for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it works.
So there's all kinds of cool tricks you hear about. One of the ones I heard about was like when the stress and the back pain gets real heavy because it's like about to pop. If you just kind of go and from behind just kind of lift up the weight, that is like a ridiculous release of stress off the board, off the back.
It's funny because like, there's your physical symptoms and then there's your mental symptoms of pregnancy, right? So some women get emotional or ornery or whatever. Not Paige. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. In fact, she's a little more chill.
Okay.
The only thing is that every now and then we'll be sitting somewhere and she'll look at her phone and then she will just burst right into tears.
Okay.
And I'll be like, "What's wrong?" And then she's like, "The old people. There's a story on Reddit about an old couple and they died." And it's just like there it goes.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere.
I mean, Last of Us episode 3 is a fucking like that's a real test of whether anyone can hold it together.
So we watched that episode.
Yeah.
When she was a couple months along. And it took like 2.5 hours to watch that episode.
Yeah.
Because my wife was a blubbering mess.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. Damn, Gregnant.
I'm not doing that. I'm not
absolutely massively Gregnant.
My wife is in the family way. She is with child.
How is Babby formed?
Wooly, I was for like months now. I have been like imagining your reaction. And I had like a coin flipping in the back of my mind going like, please be so shocked that you go, how did that happen? So I can like look at you like you're a dumbass because I have seen people do that. I have seen that reaction.
Yahoo answers out loud in real life.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately, you're a mature adult now.
Damn. Well, like I said, like I think last week and before, it's like never made it this far into the game before, right? Never made it this far. This is a whole new level of it.
It's very new.
And
very new. Ooh.
Yeah. And at some point 2 people leave the house and then 3 people come home. And that's it.
Yep.
That's it.
And that's it.
Well, fucking holy shit. Congrats again to everybody.
Chaotic.
And that is
thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh, well
there you go.
Bombshells off my chest.
Off the chest.
Oh man, that is so like we didn't even like when we kept it private, like my mom and dad did not find out until relatively recently. Like just really wanted.
Yeah.
And like for my mom, there's always the worry, like, it's her grandbaby, which I always said, babies are stupid. So she like kind of like gave up. And then I'm like, hey mom, guess what? Yo, that's a great feeling. Getting to tell your mom that she's gonna be a grandma. Oh man.
especially if there's that little like little background pressure, like, oh, whenever you can, whenever you
Yeah.
get around to it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that is the right move too, because well, I mean, I like, I know a couple that had to try many times,
Yeah.
and it took a while, and so it's best off to like give it a shot to
Yeah,
be like,
so that's why it's
how's
the
it going?
norm to wait a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. You want to make sure everything's okay, and then once you do, you're like, all right, looks like we're all systems go.
And again, can't stress this enough. Not only is everything okay, everything is perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, like within Baby is right now on size at 50th percentile. 50th percentile. That was the number I wanted to hear. And then they're like, except for his legs. They're 20th percentile for legs. And I'm like, oh no. Oh
no. Goddamn.
Oh no. Oh well.
The saga continues. All right.
Oh, I had forgotten. Paige is letting me know, and also his belly right now is at 90th percentile.
Okay.
So he looks like me even now.
Okay. Did you have any thoughts on the like boy girl reveal?
I
like,
don't care.
No, but like no, not that part of it. I mean more so like waiting versus not waiting, versus finding out right away.
Oh no way. No way. They're like, do you want it to be sealed in an envelope?
Some
and we're
people,
like, no.
Yeah.
Now.
Okay. Info,
Gimme.
data. All right. Yeah.
There was
frame data that baby right now.
there was the idea that was floated by me for a few minutes about getting it sealed and then mailing it to you, obfuscated as to what it was.
That's wild.
And then telling you to open it live and then having you have a meltdown. But I was like, that's too much.
That's crazy.
That's a lot. Can't do that. That's way too much.
I would have said to you, that's too much. I would have. Absolutely. You would have been told that is way too much. But yeah, no. Get all the data immediately. Data mine the baby, fucking stats, line it up.
Know everything. I believe in surprises.
Okay.
Ugh.
Okay. All right.
All right. I would like to take a quick bathroom break if that's cool with you, and go calm my nerves. I'm twitching here.
That's right on point. Let's do that. Bathroom break, BRB. Okay. I'm now being attacked by the sun.
Oh, that's a lot. You don't have curtains up, do you?
I have they're missing where the sun is. The curtains are up here, and then they stop right there. And God, yeah.
That's absurd.
Fuck.
That is so silly.
I didn't. This placement was not foreseen. I'm blind.
First this podcast, you gotta get a screenshot of what this looks like. Holy hell!
I can't. It's too much.
You are bleached. You're blowing out your camera.
It's insane. It's completely insane. Like, I don't know what. Like, oh my God.
Put the
Okay.
sunglasses on and roll with it.
Yeah. They're packed somewhere. I don't have any around.
Oh, my sunglasses.
Fuck. What do I got? This will hide me from the sun. But I'm not the. It's the Dokage hat, but I'm not the Dokage, so I feel like a fraud.
That's fine. Feel like a fraud. It's all good.
Okay.
It's all.
Yeah. No, this is wild. It is right in my eyeballs. Like, actually. Okay. This is legitimately saving me. Fuck. Well, anyway. Fuck. What are we doing? Jesus. I don't know.
We were going to do ads.
Yeah. There we go. Money. Here. Money for baby.
Hey, yeah. I don't just have a mortgage. I got a kid on the way. So these ads are important.
Money for baby. All right? Listen up. This week, the podcast is sponsored by Bombas. And just shut the fuck up and spend the money on Bombas because there's babies now.
There's babies now. We're doing this now.
This is the new
Bombas era.
Yes, Bombas is great. The socks are amazing quality. They sweat wick. They prevent blisters.
Babies love socks.
The babies need socks all the time. Yes, Bombas is high quality. Yes, you want to get yourself the type with no seams and they'll last and you don't have to worry about the smell or any of that garbage with the low quality.
Babies hate seams and they hate smell.
But babies, okay? So you support this. You support this now. Because it pay for baby. Bombas is they're doing high quality, not just socks, but underwear and undershirts as well. All kinds of sweat wicking materials, high quality merino wool, all of that. Happiness guarantee 100%, covered for life, easy returns and exchanges and replacements if needed, and of course a pair being donated for every one that you buy. So It's just, man, food in the child's mouth.
Hey, listen. For realsy, though, you remember being a child. You remember getting socks for a holiday. You're like, bummer. Don't care for socks. But now you're a smart adult and you're aware of how good socks are. Get good socks from Bombas.
Go to bombas.com/superbeast. Use promo code SUPERBEAST and you'll save 20% off your first purchase and put 20% of the food in the kid's mouth. That's BOMBAS.com/superbeast with code SUPERBEAST at checkout. Thank you, Bombas.
Thanks, Bombas.
You don't wear socks? Well, start wearing them now.
What, you want your child to see your horrible, gnarled feet? No, that'll traumatize them. Cover them shits up.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by Green Chef. You know what needs food? Babies.
You know what also needs food? The pregnant lady carrying the baby.
This is true.
Needs
this is
good
true. This
food.
is true.
Badly.
True.
Pregnant
needs
lady,
food.
you know what that means? That means pregnant lady will look at you and say, "Food now."
Right. Almost forgot about that. About her. That's the mech that the baby is piloting needs food as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a power loader, you know, with like Ripley and the Hey, Green Chef is here to get you healthy ingredients because health is important. Health
Health
is
is very
important.
important.
Green Chef is a CCOF certified meal kit company. They're getting you easy meal plans fit for every lifestyle. Again, you got your keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten free, or just balanced meals in general as a wide range of ways to eat. And you've got tons of recipes or on the regular, 30 plus weekly to mix and match with different dietary preferences. Um, you can get yourself in on some of the high quality chicken, beef, salmon, USDA certified ground beef, USDA certified ground organic chicken, wild caught sockeye salmon, all of that fresh and delivered in meals with recipes you can put together for 10 minutes or less. All of this needs to go in the pregnant mouth. You need to feed the pregnant lady to get the baby nice and big and strong. So
This
food is
so weird.
important. But more importantly, you support this. You support the food on the table to go to baby, man. I don't how many times do we need to say it? Just shut
Probably
up.
a lot.
Support the sponsor because baby needs it.
And not like the
Okay.
way that I'm like a huge baby man. No, we're talking like a real baby.
Literally. All right? These sponsors have taken on a whole new like life now. This is a new phase. This is important. So go to greenchef.com/superbeast60 and then you put the code superbeast60 in to get 60% off plus free shipping. Once again, you go to greenchef.com/superbeast60 and use the code superbeast60 to get 60% off plus free shipping. That's America's #1 meal kit for eating well. Thank you, Green Chef.
Thanks, Green Chef.
High stakes advertising.
I am going to ascend to the highest shill mountain. You have no idea.
Right. And this week, podcast is sponsored by, hey, you know what's great when babies are being loud and making a lot of noise? Well, you
What's
should
that?
listen to that and pay attention to it, of course. But sometimes some noise canceling headphones might help.
Yeah.
Earbuds,
So,
even.
you know, when one parent is on deck, right, and the other parent needs to recharge because mom's had a
Yes.
long day, she can put in noise canceling and just chill out for a
There
bit.
you go. You can't, not both. Don't do that.
Definitely not both. Only one.
But Raycon is here to help you with premium audio at a perfect price point so you can listen to what you want when you want without breaking the bank, and you can relax to the excellent quality of your noise cancellation. Of course, of what as well, we're talking wireless, so you don't want to be getting tripped up in the wires. What if you got to get up and go take care of, baby needs at some point, and you're getting up and then, oh no, wires are in the way, and before you know it, bam, zoom, tumble, fall. Horrible, right?
Terrible.
Don't
Baby
do it.
can't pull earbuds out of your ear with no wires to pull.
There you go. So Raycon's in to help you out with that. Plus, you can get a pair and a spare and still save on what you would if you were to spend on other big expensive brands. You got your 2 years of product protection insurance for just a few bucks as well. Easy and free returns. And yeah, get in there on the regular. I know that, like I said before, Punch Mom uses them day to day. They've become an essential. And when you got baby to worry about, you might want a pair too. So go to buyraycon.com/superbeast today to get 15% off your Raycon order. That's buyraycon.com/superbeast to score 15% off. buyraycon.com/superbeast. There you go.
Thanks, Raycon.
Food to baby.
Not the headphones. Don't.
No, not the no. Though
No.
they're small. That is.
I'm an
not
idiot,
food.
but even I know that.
No, don't do it. Okay.
Hey, before we continue, so you mentioned like feeding your pregnant wife during the Green Chef. So man, there's all sorts of shit I didn't know. So you take your prenatal vitamins. It's good for you, good for baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do you know what prenatal vitamins are actually for? What they're really for? I'm gonna
Is
assume
there
no.
another purpose?
No, but like specifically. So, you're talking to the doctor and you're like, what kind of foods should we eat? And, you want to have the perfect nutrients, yada, yada. And like, oh, they say, oh, make sure to get this vitamin or that vitamin. But all in all, it'll be fine. Why? Because prenatals are not for baby. Because baby is going to take what it needs. Baby will steal minerals off of mom's bones to get what it needs. It will take whatever it wants.
Mm-hmm.
Prenatals are for mom.
It's to replenish mom. Okay. Damn.
Because otherwise, baby will take your teeth.
Symbiote. Okay. That makes sense.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so video games, I guess.
Yeah, video games. Woo! That's important. You know who loves video games? Babies. That's right. Wow.
They sure do. They sure do. I mean,
fighting games even. Wow. Tekken 8 crossplay.
Well, how about this? Somebody leaked some footage they weren't supposed to leak, and we saw a clip of what looks like a Persona 3 remake and Jet Set Radio.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking sick. P3 had been rumored for a long time with no evidence of it, and this seemed to be like a really highly detailed shot of Yukari doing a big old bow and arrow shot. And then there was a little Jet Set Radio clip at the end with like a new version of Beat kind of dancing, and it was said for internal use only, so it seems like it was an investors meeting for Sega.
That specific clip may not be real or final, but it's supposed to show off to businessmen, hey, look, this would be a cool thing that we're doing.
I kind of wonder, that's the thing, is like, is it like, yes, this is a real internal thing, but no, this does not represent actual projects that are happening. It's just kind of like a idea of what we want to green light, or stuff in the pipeline, but it's not really reflective of what they've made. I don't know. But the details on the P3 stuff look really high quality. Like, that looks like it absolutely could be real assets.
And Gamatsu came out and said, well, we can't vouch for the footage. We have heard from many people that they are in fact working on a P3 game.
It's also couched in between some Sonic Frontiers footage of Sonic popping Super Saiyan. So yeah, I don't know. I like the Jet Set Radio stuff is interesting because like we've been in this state of like, what's going on with it? Why no port of Future to PC? Why no love for anything related to this? And then eventually, well, fuck it, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Team Reptile's is gonna do it. A lot of fan-made Jet Set Radio spiritual successors over the years. The idea that they're gonna eventually actually do something is like, man, I'll still have to wait to believe it when I see it. But they rendered something. There was something that we looked at there.
At the very least, somebody somewhere said this would be cool.
It makes me though like the part where if this was in the works for any amount of time, that was not that long ago, Hideki Naganuma would have been on Twitter probably not saying, where the fuck is Jet Set Radio? Bring it back, Sega, you cowards. Right? The fact that the guy behind the music is going, bring it back, Sega, what the fuck, along with everybody else, kind of makes you think, oh, maybe he's not secretly working on something.
I mean, it's possible that game didn't make it. Right? The Persona and Sonic Frontiers were like, yeah, but then the Jet Set was like, nah.
Yeah, they're also saying the footage is not that recent either. That's true too.
Yeah, it's from like 2021.
Yeah, so a little weird clip. But P3 remake it makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's obviously one of the best ones that's like locked, and P3P being an update to that like has like FEMC and stuff that we never really got in any other format. That deserves it.
I mean, they recently put out the re-release of P3P, a game that I was sponsored to play, and that means it's great. But there were a few lasting issues with the port. In particular, the AI upscaling they used for a lot of the backgrounds could have used another pass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No Moguri mod.
No.
Okay. So yeah, that was a little interesting thing. And then
Also P1 and P2 fucking thrown deeper into their dirt grave.
I mean, like, honestly, like, those games have to just be like complete reconstructions from scratch if they ever wanted to, right? Like, they could skip like a P6 for a while and just go full on, like, we're doing 1 and 2 for reals this time, and give it the full Royale treatment if they wanted to, and it would be a pretty new experience for most people, seeing as Persona starts at 3.
Listen, Wooly, you've said some shit like that, and there's a couple that have been like violently outrageous. Persona starting at 3 is actually fairly weak. I still think the most insane version of that you've ever said was like Castlevania starts at Symphony of the Night. Like, I spat blood onto the ground. I was so outraged.
Resident Evil starts at 4.
That, like, now, like, when you said that was insane. It's actually less crazy now, right? Because it's been so long since then.
For anyone new to the bit, it is a bit. Relax, put your pitchforks down. But that Photoshop that someone excellently made of like P3, P4, and P5, just edited with the numbers to be 1, 2, and 3, remains the greatest troll I've ever seen. Like, that is the best troll I've ever seen on the internet. Unbelievable. Anyways, but speaking of Resident Evil, that aside, what the fuck is Death Island?
I don't. Oh, hold on. Let me put my phone on silent. I had it on not silent for whatever reason.
Okay. Because there's a poster for Resident Evil Death Island, and everybody appears to be here. All the warriors.
Everyone is there, including. It's a shitty CG movie, much like Damnation or the other crappy fuck ones. And Jill is there, and Jill is not aging because viruses and nope, Jill will just never age. She won't.
So do these movies take place canonically, like,
yes,
after all the games?
Yeah, no, in between certain ones.
Okay.
They are canon, and their canonicity is nonsensical because characters don't act like themselves, and many of them don't make any sense. But yeah, no, they do.
When did Jill unblonde is all I want to know.
This is before she blonded.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Yes. So July 7th in Japan comes RE Dead Island, and yeah, it's
there's another stupider. Holy shit!
Oh, she unblonded. Okay. There's another promo shot of as well, and it seems to just be like, besides the main poster, like the one screenshot as well is also just like, here is everyone with their guns. Look at all the warriors, though.
We're gonna shoot them
like a Power Ranger team.
Yeah. It is like violently strange that Jill looks as she does in RE3 Remake, despite it taking place like 10 years later. She's wearing the same outfit, dude.
Well, Chris looks like his older version, but
Yeah.
Leon looks pretty young too.
No, well, he's
Like,
actually like 45.
yeah. There, honestly, like I feel like he's the only one that's aged up, and everyone else is kind of like stuck in time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyway, we got that, and then yeah, there's a couple things going on in fighting games. Sure, for starters,
Harada is
we,
done with your shit.
you know, like yeah, let anyone who repeats these questions that I've answered, may their name be written in the death note. Harada very saltily confirmed that crossplay is confirmed for Tekken 8, and that the launch roster will also include more characters than Street Fighter 6.
And there'll be rollback.
And there will be rollback. And he kind of basically was saying, like, there's no point in announcing this stuff as, like, actual features because it's just going to lead to, like, salty online discourse or whatever.
All of you just shut up.
But yes, they're doing it. And, I mean, I think that was kind of implied with Arika taking up the mantle for them as well.
It's really funny that like Harada is like announcing all these things that people like, but he's like so mad about it. Like it feels like he's just like super pissed that he lost the rollback conversation.
Because I'm sure he's sick of hearing about it, but also doesn't necessarily quite understand why everyone was so like upset to begin with. Like there's a part of it that sounds like he's like, I don't get it, but fine, here it is. It's the same thing that's always been there, you know? Are
like
you
Tekken
happy
8
now?
is going to come out and there's going to be reviews going, wow, the rollback's incredible. And he's going to be like, shut up!
It was always... No, yeah, exactly.
Tekken is free!
Anyways, that's all good news. Of course, the only thing with the whole roster size bit, which is like it being a bigger launch than launch cast than 6, I don't care as much about the number. I want to know who's there and how interesting those choices are.
Of course the roster's going to be bigger than Street Fighter 6. That's how that works.
Yeah, I like looking at 6, there's a lot of exciting choices beyond the World Warriors that all return. That I'm like, yo, look at all these new awesome characters coming back and rather all these new awesome characters being dropped and stuff. And I want to finish seeing this roster and seeing like, is T8 going to have like more characters, but they're all returning, you know, with like 1 or 2 new. Cause yeah, it's always more exciting to see like more new stuff. Tekken has always been like willing to just like bring as much forward as possible though. It's gonna be like 5 seasons of like getting the full roster in there in some way, shape, or form.
Tekken suffers in a way that Street Fighter kind of doesn't. Street Fighter has like, you know, you get to 4 and 5 and you're like, when's so-and-so gonna come in? Because there's a million Street Fighter characters, right? But Tekken has that problem worse because there's also a million Tekken characters, but like most of them always get in. So like Street Fighter has a history of like, do I expect Hakan or 12 or G to show up? No, I don't. Do I expect some weirdo idiot like Gygas to show up? Yeah, where is he?
Yeah.
Where is he?
I'm never like, I know also to not expect Ancient Ogre, but like if they do come back around with maybe tag 3, right? Whenever they do a tag dream match, then everything's on the table. Yeah, so good stuff for them. I'm very excited to see the first of the original characters though. Like I want to know what you're doing with that. What else is going on in terms of fighting games? Okay, so there's a Kickstarter, and they actually reached out to me. There's a documentary being made called Ghostlord and the Quest for Dark Presence.
Okay.
And that's a hell of a name. And the reason why this is interesting is because it's following the story of... Are you familiar with Galloping Ghost, the giant legendary arcade?
Yeah, I'm somewhat familiar.
So basically, it's like one of the best remaining. It's the best arcade like remaining on the planet type of thing. Run by Doc Mac, and it's a giant warehouse that took over a block as they just added another warehouse to the other side,
Need
and they
more?
just have every arcade machine I've ever heard of, everything I've ever seen listed. That entire MAME list you scroll down, they've got it physically set up and running, for reals. And you kind of just you walk in and you pay to enter, and then all games are on free play. Right, the perfect setup, perfect way to kill time. It's beyond legit. It's insane. It's awesome. And before the creation of Galloping Ghost, apparently, Doc Mac was working on a fighting game that involved like taking pictures of actors in live action outfits, full on
that
Mortal Kombat style,
Okay, all right.
tattoo assassin style, right? The Dong Dong Never Die style. And those sprites,
So trashy.
and those exists, and they have for like 20 plus years now, but the project never got off the ground. But 28 years later, it's still being worked on, and he's still trying to put this out. And
Come on.
everyone is wearing the most cosplay ass fucking outfits, but the weapons are real. And shit is, there's people on chairs doing flying it's all of it. All of it is there. And essentially, they're just chronicling the story of this 28-year project that is being worked on right now. And yeah, it seems like we might get ourselves some proper 2023 poverty, right?
This is exciting because like assets that were like shot and made like 15 years ago look weird. And I want to see it.
28
like
years ago.
so like
Yeah.
I want to see the 28-year-old assets right next to the assets from 6 months ago.
I mean, there's the trailer for the documentary is basically like they talk about like going over into like gyms and just seeing like fit people and being like, "Hey, do you want to be in a video game?" And then them showing up at a warehouse and just picking up weapons and putting on random shit and just becoming
Like,
a fighting
I'm
game
a video
character.
game character now.
Yeah, just put on some shit. You're in it, ready to go. You know, and yeah, they're
I'm
still
looking
trying
at
to
this.
do it.
Looks like trash. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, the good kind of Kusoge, hopefully coming soon, and this is gonna be talking about the story of this project and how it's coming along. What is it? There's Dark Presence, and then the sequel to that will be Conquering Light. It's awesome.
Come on.
Yeah, there's a whole plan. And they're working on it. And look, man, in a world where Jackie Chan Fists of Fire can fucking thrive
but that's Jackie Chan in it, man.
And like five other people who nobody knows.
It has Jackie Chan, and then it has Jackie Chan, and it has Jackie Chan, and it has a couple more other characters.
Yeah. So, no, I'm looking forward to seeing this poverty get created, and this is a documentary talking about it at the very least, and it's about halfway to its goal. So, just putting that out there. Ghostlord and the Quest for Dark Presence.
What a ridiculous name.
Yeah. For a ridiculous concept. And I'm down for the walk into that closet, pick up some shit, and walk back out here. You're a character now. Like, I'm down for this school of design.
I'm just thinking of like, what moves do I do? Whatever, just
swing it.
Just do a punt. I don't care.
But not too hard, because these are real weapons, though. Yeah. So there's that. Another fighting game that was just dropped was, or a teaser for it was dropped. Checkmate Showdown. So this is fucking interesting because a TikTok popped up, and then they ended up on Twitter a couple days ago, being
Oh,
made in
I was about
Montreal.
to look
Apparently,
it up, and you sent it to me. Thank you.
chess, but when you attack
Mhm.
the opponent, a fighting game round starts.
I hope those rounds are fast as fuck.
Yeah, and pawns are little weak, characters. The rook is a grappler.
Grappler, of course it is.
There's a bishop that's probably a zoner. There's a knight that's like a speed character, and a queen who's probably super OP. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
those
called
characters can't be fair. They have to be wildly unfair.
absolutely, because the idea of like, okay, my knight takes your pawn, but your pawn fought back and won the fight. That's crazy. Like, that adds a level of like, wait, but I'm supposed to win so I can set up this position.
Yeah,
though.
just because you're good at this isn't your dad's chess.
Conceptually sounds pretty interesting. Because I like me some chess. I haven't played in a while, but it's fun. And then you just throw this on it, and hopefully, again, the queen should absolutely annihilate anyone who's playing as a pawn, and so on.
Yeah.
The description is for chess players that want to outsmart precision through patience, and fighting game players that want to outclass intelligence through execution. Interesting. It seems like
I'm really interested to see more than anything how it would what advantages and disadvantages every piece gets at what point in the game.
yeah, or is it
It's
just your life
delicate.
bar? What's the deal? Yeah. And if a pawn makes it to the end, do you get to like level up and switch your class and whatever? It'd be cool to see how they balance it. But there's been chess combat and chess 2 and cyber chess and all that. This is a cool idea. Seems like it was born from a game jam or something to that effect, but it's turning into a real thing. Give it a peep. There is also, and while we're talking about these Kickstarters and things like that, another one, and this popped up some time ago, GENOKIDS.
Hmm?
So I saw this not too long ago, but it is a
Thank you.
colorful character action style hack and slash as the description, but it's a character action game. Quick tag, tons of just colorful, stylish things going on. It's Hi-Fi Rush is going on aesthetically. Like, you're getting a lot of Hi-Fi Rush energy from this, which we can aptly say now. And cell shaded, just cool looking, fun flow, air combos, Marvel style tagging into the next character. Yeah, it just looks like a really cool action game. So this thing's up on Kickstarter as well. And again, look into it if it seems up your alley, then by all means. But it's currently 2/3 of its way to its goal, I'd say. So take a look. Oh, Kira Buckland is the VA. Kira Buckland is VA for the Blue Girl. That's cool.
Huh, interesting.
Nice, good job.
Now, and also, for some reason, the trailer ends with a giant Emil head in the background.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah, and then there's a style meter during the combo, so like, we can see they're fans of the stuff. I also see a what is it? Okay, quadruple S is a ranking.
Come on.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
6 skills.
It's too many.
4 S's.
3
What
is
if it
too
goes up to
much already. Come on.
So yeah, GENOKIDS. Looks cool. Yeah. So I saw that they updated God of War Ragnarok with a New Game Plus mode, and that makes me go, there was not already a New Game Plus in that game?
Yeah, same thing with the first one where the New Game Plus got added later. Yeah, it now has a New Game Plus mode. And this was like this was needed way more than the first game. So,
Okay.
because you get to the end of God of War Ragnarok, and I talked about it at length about the I think it was when Susie was here first about the
Hmm.
third weapon that you get.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I will never play this game again unless I can start with that weapon. Never.
Right.
And they put out in the thing like, okay, step one, the cool cloak that Kratos has in the intro to the game, that is now armor you can wear in New Game Plus.
Cool.
And we'll be starting the game with that weapon in New Game Plus. It just can't unlock any of the puzzle solutions until you get to that point in the game. But you can totally fight your shit off with it. I'm like, oh, thank God. Because holy hell, I didn't want to ever even look at that game ever again without that weapon. It's so
Mm.
much more fun than the other two.
I guess they just kind of put it out as soon as they hit that finishing line, and then they kind of go, all right, for a New Game Plus, how do we balance this? Let's figure it out post-launch.
Yeah.
Mm.
The answer is take away because the weapon also lets you solve puzzles, and it also has like Metroidvania style applications. And the
I see.
solution is like just don't let it do any of that shit. Just have it not work until you actually unlock the weapon as part of the story.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Um, yeah. So that just dropped as well. Um, the Mario Brothers movie is getting
Blowing up.
a real interesting reception because critics only, it hit 55% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then it's breaking records and smashing, numbers, and then audience rating is like 95%.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of the most divisive things recently where it's not critically acclaimed, but fans seem to love it, and everyone seems to be saying like it's pretty good. It's not as good as Sonic, but it's still a whole lot of fun is the impression I'm getting.
You know what isn't. You know what needs no qualification for everybody loving? That goddamn Peaches song. Oh, have you not heard it?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's part of the movie, but then
Okay.
Jack Black did a live video of him singing the song Peaches from the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and it
Oh.
is incredible. And it's a Tenacious D song.
Okay. Awesome. 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 Very cool.
And
Yeah.
it is fucking awesome.
Um yeah, no. That is a if you're going to get Jack Black on on your movie or whatever, you should take advantage of the him going into D mode,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, you should.
Um fucking what was it? Oh yeah. So there was a couple months ago they did a cover of Wicked Game,
Mm-hmm.
and if you want to hear like Tenacious D doing like a serious song for some reason and like annihilating it, doing it super duper good, go check that out. Like that's exciting. Yeah, no, but it's interesting because like it's Sonic is the direct comparison point, and it seems like it's like, okay, this is not necessarily going to be that, but it still is like quite fine. Which I think I was pretty much saying. I think we're at a point where they're like, yeah, I don't know if we're ever gonna get not never. When the IP is so big,
Mm-hmm.
it won't ever be a colossal failure like that, like it used to be ever again.
Not
Like
ever again.
I like it feels
Ugly Sonic was the end of that.
the level of money in place now is going to catch it from
Mm-hmm.
disaster. It'll come out being mid at worst when certain levels of IP are involved. I think this is kind of where we're at now. Um, yeah, yeah. Some people are here saying Oh, you liked it more than Sonic? Oh, interesting. Okay.
That means you just didn't have enough Sonic in your heart, brother.
I mean, there's something to it though with like it's not Mario running around hanging out with a real human, right?
Well, Mario is ostensibly a real human.
Yes, exactly.
Like he
But when I
is
think of
ostensibly a person.
and like Sonic stories sometimes involve Sonic hanging out with humans and sometimes they're like up to their
Sometimes they
own.
involve him getting it with a human.
Exactly. So, you know, that's a little more to be expected, but yeah, okay. I'm curious as to whenever there's something like this and it's like, oh, critically panned, but fan beloved.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why?
Well, we'll have to see it and then say, I liked like there was I read some old man's review and he was saying he was explaining who Bowser was. It's like Bowser is a giant evil turtle, like, and then mentioned like two puppets from the 70s. And I'm like, I don't
Okay.
like Jesus Christ, old man. Get back in your fucking in your old pod.
I
Get out
mean,
of
on
my
the one hand,
face.
I could see it being like, oh, this is fan service. So if you're a Mario fan or a video game fan, you're going to be into it. But if you're an old critic, then you're not going to be. But I'm like, but everyone knows Mario. Like,
No, Wooly. It's there. I mean, the olds are starting to melt away, but there are many olds who do not know about Mario.
okay, the sun is moving. Fuck you.
Wooly, I
Um,
just want to take a second as you readjust your Dokage hat as the sun attacks you. You look like a massive asshole.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm.
like real bad.
I mean, it's rough. I don't have again. Most things are in boxes. I don't have a lot of choices out here. Like,
That'll do it. That'll do it, Wooly. Totally don't look like an asshole anymore. You did it.
see, it doesn't even work. It does not fit.
No,
Dreads
man,
plus
you look
headphones do
great.
not work.
You should turn this
I
into a new look.
I can't
This should be your
possibly.
look
It's just
now, cowboy hat Wooly.
it doesn't
It's
like I
not
have to
helping
hit
you
my
with
head
the
up.
sun. Actually, it's not helping at all.
All right. I'm gonna need to figure out this fucking curtain situation like
Is this the
ASAP.
first time you sat in that spot during this time of day?
At this time of day, yes.
That's always the most fun. That's the most fun. You're organizing your house and you're like, yeah, this is where it should go. And then that time of day rolls around and you're like, wow, the sun is beaming directly into my fucking eyes if I sit here. Ow, ow.
I was not here during the golden hour. I didn't realize. Okay. Um well, anyway, one other thing. Apropos of nothing. Do you remember / have you ever heard of slam ball?
I have, actually. This seems like some UPN trash fake ass sports shit.
Well, yes, but also hype as fuck basketball with trampolines.
Yeah, yeah,
Where
that's what it is.
you're allowed to super jump and do all the shit that you could in NBA Hang Time and
Trampolines.
NBA
Yeah,
Jam.
that's right.
Well, someone with money said, fuck it, bring it back. After more than 20 years, slam
But
ball
Wooly, that's stupid.
is officially returning this summer with a 6-week regular season and then a 1-week playoff.
A 6-week season?
It's happening. Yeah. So slam ball is basically like what if basketball, but trampolines and contact and crazy ass like XFL style hits allowed. And also, but here's the thing though, right? I know you, but you always what if blood sport, right? What if
yeah.
Okay, so not only is like there crazy contact and hits and shit like that, um, there's the whole game is takes place in a half hour, so that you can air one entire
Mm.
match in a block of TV.
Mm. You know, if you just forced all the players to take drugs, you wouldn't
Okay,
need the
okay,
trampolines.
mm-hmm,
They could
mm-hmm.
just they could just jump that high normal like.
Anyway,
You know what the worst thing is about my Bloodsport thing is
mm-hmm.
that like I blame Space Jam because I saw Space Jam and I'm like basketball should be like this.
I mean, yes, but we also again we've gotten hype ass. We've gotten NBA Jam for years. We've gotten Arch Rivals. We've gotten Mutant League and Blood Bowl and shit like that. Um, it ain't the first time, but regardless, Slam Ball. I just want the idea of ridiculous mid-air stepping off of somebody to do a dunk that looks like a Titanfall replay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what we're hoping for. And there's a lot of that where the defender will jump at the same time as like the scorer. There's positions here. Yeah. So what were these? Okay. So well, I think it's like a 3-point shot and a dunk are also were 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's something like that where it's like there's a regular shot, but then like you dunking is the same as a 3 point. So you got to go for it. They
What
encourage
if
you
you
to go
pick
for
up
it.
one of the other players and put them through the whole basket? Is that worth more points?
I don't think that's worth more points. However, that is a higher potential decapitation score.
Hey
Uh,
man,
seeing as if you hit the
now we're
bottom of that
talking.
rim, actually they probably have to have a rim that breaks away really easily
Oh yeah,
because
dude.
if you hit the bottom of your chin on that,
Well, what if you
it's
like put
over.
your leg through there? Think about how like you falling and just getting one leg caught in there. You snap like a twig.
Yeah. So there's a whole rule set, and you can go read about it or whatever. But the point is fucking trampoline basketball with contact trampoline basketball is coming back, and quite frankly, I think it's time for this and indoor soccer and all that shit to just like we need to start pushing sports to the next phase. We need to
I
get Shaolin soccer going somehow, and we're not going to
I
get there if
agree.
we stick to the same old FIFA bullshit. We need to get our XFLs going. We need our alt leagues happening.
I don't think we need to get the XFL going. I
But
don't
he
think
hate
that.
me.
I think
He hate me. Everyone, nobody ever forgot about he hate me. In 1 second, everyone was like, "God damn, that's the best thing ever." You can have your jersey, say whatever you want, and of course he hate you. They all hate you. They hate you forever. They hate you because you win. He hate me, baby. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah, no, they we need that. Um. All right. Well, anyways, let's just take some letters and
Hey, if you send in a letter to
do our
this
thing.
podcast, you can send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. Emails next week are going to be wild.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. We got one coming in from Sebastian who says, "Hello, Tyrant Wooly and Mr. Pat. A while
Hey.
ago, Wooly made a joke about plugging in a Wiimote to play RE4 Remake, like Wii Edition. Gave me the idea to use the Steam input to set up a pair of Joy-Cons to play the remake with motion controls. What
Mm-hmm.
started as a bit to see how bad it would be ended up being something that I loved. I drank the Kool-Aid, and I don't want to play games without it anymore. Joy-Cons mostly for the dual sense, which sucks because very few games support it natively, and it's kind of a pain to set it up manually via Steam." That's crazy.
Yeah, you can do all sorts of stupid shit with Steam input, man. You can do all sorts
Uh,
of stupid shit.
have unofficial controllers, mods, or other unsupported features ruined your ability to enjoy certain games without it? I don't think I've ever switched over to a way where, like, I mean, my whole hybrid controller setup thing was like a preference for a while. Um, Bit aside, I don't know that I've had something where I'm like I could never go back to the default, but
I have never played with weird controls.
I do think no, fight sticks is not a real answer because I switch over to controllers for certain fighting games all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Fight sticks are not a once you've played with them you can never go back. You can absolutely go back to controller, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to exist, and this has never been a thing, is I want there to be. It sucks that there's no fan games that use the Steel Battalion controller setup. I feel like that. I feel like that should have been a community of crazy people that developed other uses for that plastic so that you can play insane simulators and shit and find a way to plug them into a PC. That's my biggest controller tragedy. Like there's no like we need to find a way to
You've lost
convert
your fucking mind. That was never going to be
Xbox
for
to
anything.
USB and then have all those switches and just make a nice fan game mecha game that uses 44 switches to fucking do other things besides Steel Battalion. That's the real tragedy of controls. All right. Well,
yeah, I don't. I play with regular controls. I think the most adventurous thing that I've ever done is like is the stuff I did with Devil May Cry 5, and that's just like teach Steam input to hold a button for me.
Right. Let's take one over here from Azure says, Dear Woldine, Zidane, and Pat Burt Steiner, now that you're going through FF9, I wanted to let you know about this hidden quest that's not a spoiler. It's just showing that the very nature of the LP, you're not going to get this. I'm sure Pat knows. Excalibur 2 is something that I can confirm. It's not accessible content. The strongest weapon you can get for Steiner is Excalibur 2. Strongest weapon, period. But to get
this
it, you have to reach.
Sucks, dude.
You have to reach one of the last rooms in the game within 12 hours of starting. Once that amount of time has passed, the item is gone. Not technically gone for good because you can actually reset the internal game clock by letting the game stay on for 2 years. So it's not practical. But anyways, yeah, you can. There are some quirky details like the fact that since different versions of the game have different frame rates, the actual time difference changes depending on the version. Can be as short as 10 hours, but I'll spare you the ins and outs. It's an interesting hidden reward for speedrunning, but it forces you to skip a ton of content, especially considering the timer never really stops, even in cutscenes. Yeah, are there any weird hidden and impractical rewards like this in games that you can remember?
I can think of one.
I brought up the Dark Souls fucking 2 stupid truffle pig whatever pickaxe.
Yeah, the pickaxe.
Completely insane.
No. Hey, you want the fucking slam dunk ultimate shittiest version of this ever? All you have to do is go 3 games into the future with Final Fantasy 12, and let's talk about the motherfucking Zodiac Spear. This fucking piece of shit is the best weapon in the game. This original FF12, not international version. Hey, guess what? How do you get the fucking Zodiac Spear? Oh, I don't know. Don't open 4 random chests throughout the game.
Oh, like FF6 has that. Yeah. Wait till later, and it cooks over time. And when you open it at the end, it gets good.
And at the end, a chest will show up, and then it will be it'll open, and it'll be a goddamn Zodiac Spear. Which chests? Oh, I don't know. Completely random chests. Some of them in the early game. Why would it? Why? Why the fuck?
See, like in Chrono Trigger, it made so much more sense because you were jumping back and forward in time, and Like it had a mechanic that was tied to the plot, so it made more sense, you know. In FF6, it was just arbitrarily like however many times you walk through this fucking cave, just ignore it. Just don't look at it for no reason.
That was that shit. So both of these, I am convinced, are a result of a deal with Prima Guides to sell Prima Guides.
Well, FF6 was like a million years
No,
ago.
no, no. I mean like 12 and fucking
Mm.
and 9. Wait, oh god, the 9 guide was like one of the worst guides ever because it would just say go to this website, and then the
But
website
like,
sucked ass.
how like the game, like getting to the end of the game in 12 hours, only to
Oh,
use it for the
awful,
last little
awful,
bit. Like,
awful.
how is that fun? Like, that
It's
doesn't
not.
sound
It
fun.
sucks ass. It's trash. I would never let my child try and beat FF9 in 12 hours. That is a terrible way to play that game. I see them speed
Stupid.
running, slap that controller right out of their hand. You stop and smell the roses. No, don't play Tetramaster. Don't smell those roses. But the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're gonna have some decisions to make.
Am I?
Mm-hmm.
So I saw scroll by. Hey Pat, are you gonna have your kid play like Nintendo NES games and then SN? No, that's weird. They can start on whatever the new Xbox is if they even like video games.
I don't fully agree there, in the sense that, like, I don't know that you need to fucking like time gate anything to create the perfect, like, that's stupid. But having access to old games and being like, yo, you can check these out too. There's a library of past and present to look at. I think would be is a good move, and that's something
Well,
that I
yeah,
would
of
like to do,
course, Wooly, of course,
so that
we're
it's
gonna
not
have access
always,
to everything.
but not just like being like, oh, it's not just going like, oh yeah, it's there, but also
Mhm.
like, hey, look, there's some cool stuff from the past that is fun, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I would walk in and my dad would be watching A Bridge Too Far or Bridge on the River Kwai or
Mhm.
any other World War II bridge movies that came out like 60 years ago. And I'd be like, "What's that?" And he would say, "Oh, it's this movie." And then I would watch the movie and go, "Oh, that old movie was cool." And thus, I really like a lot of those old things. The idea
Yeah,
of my dad sitting me down and be like, "Hey, you got to start watching movies from Citizen Kane onwards." It's
yeah,
fucking
no, that's
psycho
insane.
shit.
But it's just like, like when it comes to like, hey, check this out, it's cool, you know. Same thing for movies too. Like, I mean, there's some like, as much as you can go watch, you know, Frozen and Tangled, The Lion King is a fucking awesome movie. Like, yeah, I'm gonna,
Oh
you know,
man.
pop that in, you
Just
know.
thinking,
So,
did you ever see Back to the Future 2?
mm-hmm.
You know when he goes into the arcade and he's like, "Where's the arcade machine with buttons?" And they're like, "Use your hands to play it like a baby's game?" And I'm just like, "Oh no." I can see myself talking to Pat Jr. and be like, "No, you used a controller for these. You didn't jack the plug into your brain yet. That was before that. You had to use your hands
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
controller and maybe a keyboard. What's a keyboard?
No,
Mm,
yeah. I think the move is like, you know, they're gonna go with the times, of course. They're gonna be interested in whatever's like current and happening, but you're also gonna be showing stuff, and
yeah,
you know, if you show cool stuff, then in the same way
yeah.
that like old music can garner interest, or old films, then yeah, old games can do it too. But you
Mhm.
just don't. But don't like don't like not show anything, and then, you know, just not even bring the possibility up. Um. All right. Here's one with
What's
no
that weird
tags, so,
square icon that shows up when the game saves?
or
It's
the
a
or no, the oh wow, you have a physical save icon? That's crazy. Yeah. All right.
It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough, dude. Oh boy.
Dear insert joke name here. Why War Thunder actually has so many leaks?
Because
A lot of people have been leaking classified documents on War Thunder forums, but it's really discussed beyond they wanted their favorite tank buffed. The developer, and I feel the developers Gaijin get away easy here. War Thunder has a bug report section where players can and are encouraged to submit historical inaccuracies in vehicles. The
oh
game
well,
markets
there you
itself
go.
on accuracy and vehicle performance, so this is kind of a big deal. When and this is where the problem comes in. Gaijin will frequently deny bug reports, citing 5 or so credible sources, saying that they're not specific enough. The
Oh my
specifics
god.
for vehicles are often classified, or they're declassified, but the various armed forces still don't want them to be released to the public. So you have a bunch of military history nerds who read tank specs for fun that Gaijin have asked to make the game accurate, who all know something's objectively wrong, have shown evidence it's wrong, and who are told that it is in fact correct and it will not be changed unless they provide documentation that can only be obtained illegally, but don't
So they're
actually
kind of
provide illegal documents. We're just saying that's what we need from you. Of
they're
course, you'd be
just
crazy
they're
to
kind
do
of
it,
setting it up. I get it. Okay.
but it's an F2P game built around selling $50 to $120 tanks to crazies, so I figured you'd do the math. Yeah, okay. That's 100% it. That makes so much more sense now.
No, it's not like, okay, hey man, this tank actually moves at this speed. No, it doesn't. Well, here's all the information I could get from non-illegal sources. Not good enough. You'll just have to find something more concrete. Oh no, they broke the law. It makes me think the whole game is like a psyop for like some kind of foreign military.
It could be. Is Gaijin here. Gaijin game or Gaijin Entertainment? Yeah. Founded in Russia? Like, yeah, okay. I don't know. Is it not impossible? Is that not? I don't know. I don't know anything.
Who could
Is
know?
that who?
Who
I
could
don't
know?
know. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Who
Great.
could know? That's
That'll
fascinating.
do it.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
Well,
I once again encourage everyone to not betray your nation for sick stat increases on your favorite tanks.
I should also say to not do that, but I think it's cool. So,
So who knows?
who knows? Hey, once again, I'm going to be streaming over twitch.tv/Pat Stares At this week. You should come to those streams. It's your responsibility now to come to those streams. You have to do it. You have to.
There is a lot of responsibilities that are newfound. Also, anyone who doesn't can now be guilted because they're taking the food out of your kid's mouth.
So, you know, the ultimate bit here is to have the baby in my arms and be like, this is what happens when you don't subscribe. And then, like, take the bottle out of the mouth.
Yeah,
The baby's
yeah.
like, I'm like, see
A
what you're
little animation.
doing? You did this.
A little animation every time, a resub, and it's like, oh, bottle goes back in. There you go. Look at you. Look, you're affecting. That's it. God damn it. All right.
No,
Well,
I'm
yo,
not.
once
That's
again,
fair.
congratulations. That's fucking insanity. And yeah. I let's like you said, like let's see what the fucking letters look like next week.
Oh boy. I bet they're gonna be fascinating.
Take care, everybody.
Bye. Have a good week.